Twitch.
Alright. Do we do like a small introduction about, hey, I'm also here, or I don't know how you imagine it.
No, it's very informal. As long as like we exist and we're talking about people's things.
Alright, okay.
So you can have okay, awesome. The stream's on. You can look through everyone's things while I tweet it and try and get everyone in. Once the people are there, we'll prioritize who's actually in the stream.
Okay, sounds awesome.
I forgot to mention you were in it. Faye is also here. Hi, Drippy.
Hey, Drippy, welcome to the stream.
Alright, so Drippy, it's gonna work the same as last time. We're just gonna wait for the people who actually applied to join, and then we'll review their portfolios. We have the document again as last time. Hello, T-Fam, welcome to stream. Oops. Shall move that. If you had known that I was doing one of these, you would have put more effort into making more than one design. He says he's actually. I mean, at least you concentrated on your exams. I think that's a bit more important, especially since you're not even going to pursue this as a career. Or you might. It's really up to you and finding yourself. Who knows? You should know. Oh! Pfft. Sorry, ignore my alarm. Well, I'd say, Drippy, stop making League Twitter headers and make something more focused towards your course. Because that would be actually beneficial. If it's just for the Photoshop knowledge, then you should just learn Photoshop and experiment with everything there. Oh, hi Tensei, it's going well, thank you. Another portfolio stream, my 2 monthly stream. Yeah, game related stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean League of Legends Twitter header, you know.
Yes, and after all, we know anything League of Legends related, just decreases the quality of everything.
You know, I could kick you off the stream right now, bro.
Oh wait, you play League. Oh, okay, I take it back then.
I love that game, bro. It's my life.
Oh really?
Yes,
What do you think of Unite, by the way?
Pokemon Unite. Okay, so immediately when it came out, me and my League duo friend, me and him downloaded Pokemon Unite, and we grinded and grinded and grinded. Like we played every day for hours.
Oh right, okay.
And we played really well, but we thought it was like the fact that it's a children's game means there's obviously children playing it. So
right. Oh.
Of course they weren't as mechanically capable as us. Like we were sick, we were having fun, but they were kind of not sick. So the game got very frustrating in the end because of that. So we just went back to playing League because people there somewhat know what they're doing.
Ah, okay. I assume, because people, of course, have also invested a lot of time, money, and since Unite is more of a, switched focus game, it's
Yeah.
gonna have a different target group. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, definitely. It makes sense why people would play Unite over League, but I do believe League's better. Also, League, we can add your portfolio, but did you update it since the last one? Because I've made it a rule that we won't be reviewing people who have had reviews already that isn't updated. So if you have something new, just specify that and we'll look over that. Unite did have a ranked mode, Tensei, but it's like it's super easy to get into the high ranks if you just play the game often. Alright, Leak. Just put it under my Twitter thread and then also mention which bits we should look at that are updated. Drippy, I actually found that to be quite annoying. I'd rather it have pings, not for toxicity reasons, but just to inform players of what's happening during the game. Because there's been a lot of times where like, oh, we could get the legendary Pokemon in the middle, whatever, and our team members just don't follow. A ping would have helped that. 2 new projects and change the thumbnails. Lovely. Alright, so we've got a new one to take a look at, Faye.
Alright, sounds awesome.
Alright, Danny won't be joining the stream, so we can do his first.
Okay. Do we have, or is the new portfolio, is it just a general overlook of everything, or do we have a specific project?
For Danny's, he only has 2 projects which are both headers, so
okay,
we'll be looking at both of those, I guess.
Right. Okay.
I don't know how updated this is from when we last looked at it last stream, so we'll just go over it again from the start.
Right, for sure.
So here's the anime headers first. First thing I do want to point out is fan art. I'm not too sure. Like, obviously this is a very personal thing. If you have permission to use it, or if you've drawn it yourself, which I don't think you have. But generally steer away from fan art unless you have express permission to use it.
Yes. Just from my personal opinion, it could be just me, but I generally just dislike it since it's the more you get into a more professional space, the more you're gonna get punished for when you do mess up, right? And I think no one's gonna complain if a 40-year-old Facebook mom uses some minion clip art in her Facebook posts, right?
Yeah.
But since you try to, or Danny, since I'd say you want to be more in a regarded more professional way, you're doing it for fun, or you have passion behind it. But since you're doing commissions, moving more in a more professional, respected area, I have to agree with Emerald. I personally think that you should never use fan art unless you have the license or the permission, right? But yeah, that's just my take on it. I'm not really a fan. But
Yeah.
I'll just say this for now and won't mention it again, but I think it applies to every header.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because I know, so there's people like Zizi who use fan art. Oh wait, give me a second. I'll be back, give me a second. Faye, do you want to like critique the next ones? I need a second.
Yes, okay. So the okay, the headers you can see on screen. Okay. Heads up, I have no idea who any of the characters are. All I can say about it is how I feel about it and how the vibe is portrayed. And I think you did that fairly well, Danny. Overall, the vibe from the red and dark one, it's more of an edgy tone, I guess, since you also have like the I guess the tattoos on the face as well. Not sure if that's the character design, or I assume it's the character design, but in general, all of this kind of edgy feeling, the textures, the skulls you can see all around the stars, the sparkles and everything. The overall atmosphere, it's pretty atmospheric, right? And I think everything ties in fairly well, even though it's a 2D header in terms of being a flat design or flat motif that you used. I think you created depth pretty well with the skulls in the corners, and then the more you move back, the smaller they get, and also using the textures. Something I would change. About the depth, it's also the text. I think you did it in either Photoshop or Cinema 4D. Looks like one of those typical texts, which of course isn't bad. I think it also works. Overall the composition is fairly balanced. The look of everything, the layer styles that you used are also appropriate, I feel like. The one thing I have kind of issues with is the text, like know your place, you fool, and whatnot. I'd say since you try to add so much depth to all of the header, when you have a solid text which just has one color and a bit of like dark brush stroke textures, I think it feels a bit out of place. Maybe it was intended to be kind of one of those abstract subtitles in a way, but then I would have styled it differently. Now it kind of blends everything into itself, but it also stands out too much by being a solid color in comparison to the name, for example, since the name, the big name text has a gradient on it, but the subtitles don't. And so overall, I think this kind of feels a bit weird, but it's not too distracting since the subtitles are fairly small.
Hello, sorry, I'm back.
Hey there.
So-
Next, I just did the black and red header. Overall, I think the depth is pretty nice. The atmosphere was captured pretty well, but the text for me, it's a bit since it's flat colored, it sticks out for me a bit too much. I don't know if they were going for that, but it's kind of in the middle between sticking out not enough, but like pretty much in the middle. Not enough like subtitles, but also not enough to be actually like inside the composition.
Yeah, I agree.
That was essentially my points. Then and also, I don't know what the name is. I can read Dandale.
It's Dan, but you'd only know that if you
yeah,
know the
Dan.
person.
Okay. Of course, for me, legibility over everything. So I would have maybe moved that the calligraphy a bit to the right, so you could see the white space for the N.
Yeah.
Because now you can't really see if it's a P, a Q, an O, or an N. But okay, then okay. Next, Danny. I think there it works well. Just about the text. So you have the art of the guy in the bathrobe, and since the head doesn't cover the bottom part of the N, you can see it says Danny and not Denoy or something.
Yeah.
Just as a little reference. Overall, I think the atmosphere was captured pretty well as well. Overall, I like the colors that you used. It works in a solid way, I'd say. A few things that I'd think about is, for example, the blossom leaves, right? Sometimes they're blurred, but not in a way you'd expect them to be blurred. It's like
Yeah, I'm not sure if you use motion blur or just a Gaussian blur, because
yes.
yeah, because they would be, because if you use motion blur, they would look like they're moving rather than just in the background, like blurry, like lens blur.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know if they tried to create depth, or if it, like, for me it's kind of in the middle ground. It works either way if you try to be as flat as possible or as having as much depth as possible. And for me, this is a bit in the middle ground where it's so minimalistic. you'd have to sell the depth effect pretty well. And for me, the branches and everything could be reworked. Also, the blossom leaves that are below the D. They I assume they were meant to have like this kind of like flowing by motion.
Yeah.
But they just look like they have a glow outline, so it's a bit so it feels a bit weird. But I do like the approach with the motion and also the brush strokes which go from the bottom left to the top right.
Yeah, it flows really well because if you can see, the petals move with the lines, like the wind is that direction, like that acts as the wind. Also, as I was saying
The hair
before
too.
about fan art, I wanted to finish my sentence.
Yeah, sorry.
That so Zizi is someone who uses fan art a lot, but he directly asks for permission. He's my favorite example because like he's not afraid to go up to artists and DM them and just go, "Hey, can I use this art?" Like artists are other people, just like you. They're humans. It is not weird to ask for permission to use their art. Like it is not weird. You got it.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The last thing I wanted to mention was the hair also flowing in the same direction as the brush strokes.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
And, something just as a little tidbit, I guess the two photos and the two small renders, like the guy in the bathrobe and the girl in the white shirt, it feels more leaning towards the right. So when you say, for example, split the header into two parts straight in the middle, you have the text, the two renders, and then the two photos, and it's all pretty balanced out, I'd say. And then on the left side, you have like the main art, and then in the background a pretty low opacity render. And I feel like the balancing could have been done a bit better. I'd say, I think that the balancing could be improved by, for example, just moving the two people to the left, for example, or splitting up the photos in a different way. But as of now, it feels like it would sort of lean to the right if you just try to balance it on your finger, for example.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think that's all I pretty much have to say.
All right, here's the last one in the anime section.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say about this one. So one thing that really sticks out to me is the color correction between this little I didn't watch I don't know who this character is, right? Is it just little Goku? I don't know. He looks like little Goku. I'm gonna call him little Goku. He does I don't know how to put it, but he doesn't look like he fits in the scene.
Right, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
And same with the Dragon Balls. Because there's like a smoke effect, but that doesn't affect the balls. Goten. It's Goten.
Which smoke effect do you mean?
As you can see here at the sides and at the bottom, there's a tiny little fog effect. You can see the like, little white bits.
Okay. Oh yeah.
It covers this Goten, but ignores the Dragon Balls.
Right.
At least that's what I'm seeing. Maybe it does cover the Dragon Balls, and I'm just blind.
I think it's kind of. I honestly think it's kind of weird because it's, it's like the. Sorry, trying to find the word. It's not enough to be a fog, but in a meadow like this, it. For me, just looks like a weird color, not a fog or intended smoke effect, right?
Yeah.
And since you try to have the edges darker, I think it contradicts the way you try to approach something like this, right? So, for example, when you move your eyes from the bottom left to the center, you first have light green due to the fog, then you move into a darker meadow, green, and then you have the bright orange text again. And I feel like this is kind of weird. Usually you try to have one gradient from light to dark, and I don't really see how the fog helps here, right?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure what else to say about this header really because there's just not much there to talk about. It's text, background, character.
Yeah.
I feel like the composition's fine.
I feel like the right uh, Goten
Go 10,
guy.
yes.
Um, I don't know. It feels too much like it leans too much to the left. I'll just skim through what I have in mind. Um, the shadow on the two assets you put in, like the spaceship and the other character, they have like opposing shadows, and I don't really see where the source of the light source is supposed to be. Like by the shadows, you think that the light source is somewhere at the cloud, for example,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't really see that as a light source, I think.
Yeah, no, I
And
agree.
the text on the shifty, I don't know, it just doesn't really fit to the art style. Like the general art style is like you can just see how the line work is. It's solid color. I don't know what it's called, cell shading, and the text has a gradient, back outline, and then another white stroke, and just doesn't fit with the rest. But yeah, just that's the things I have in mind.
I also think there's too many sparkle assets.
Yeah,
A few would have been fine, I feel, but there is way too many. I feel just close to each other. Like the ones on the text, I feel like this one at the bottom is fine, but the rest of them feel just really there.
yeah. I feel like okay. What I think happened, right, was like they were working on the header, and then they saw like the flat gradient in the background center, and then they were like, no, wait, I have to break that up a bit because it looks weird because I need something. And they just added lots and lots of sparkle effects to kind of break up the solid color.
Yeah.
And yeah, not that it's a bad idea to try to, improve things, but yeah, just try to see if something is really needed, and if you feel like you need something, try to see how to do it differently.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, on to his non-anime headers now. For this one, because I looked at it before, and one thing I wanted to say is text legibility, which is something I know you value. Um, I think that says Annie, but it's
Yeah,
just the assets cover a lot of it. Like I can't read the
yep.
hedgehog bit, Sega bit, half the text just gone. It'd be fine if everything was just moved slightly to the left. I feel Sonic has space to move in the left. The text. Oh, that says Danny. I just know. I didn't even see the
Yeah.
date.
Danny the Echo. Annie the Echo. It's but yeah, I think we mentioned before, and it's like yeah, Danny, for the future headers, every time you think we might say something like that, I don't think we will, but just yeah, we
Yeah,
mentioned.
just like a thing you can do. Send it to someone else. Ask, can you read this?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's a good tip. I don't know how. I feel like you need some kind of designer group for it, but yeah.
Not even
So
like even just a normal person can tell whether they can read something or not.
yeah, yeah, seems fair. Yeah, for sure.
For this one, I
Oh,
mainly wanted to.
sorry,
Oh, sorry.
Emerald. Could you go back to the
Oh
Annie
yeah,
header one more time?
yeah. Sorry.
There's one more thing I'd like to mention specifically. So if you look at Sonic and then the light, like the 2D flash lightning, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't really look like lightning. It's like as if you pasted those lightning assets in and then chose the wrong blending mode. For me, it feels like this because lightning is like this kind of very bright, very flashy, and in this header, it the lighting just makes it darker, and it's not something that should happen
See,
for me.
I don't really mind. See this lightning here. This very drawn one. I like this one a lot. These I feel like shouldn't have any transparency. This one looks a bit low quality, and this one in the back
Yeah,
just doesn't fit the style of these. If everything followed this one, I feel it would be really nice. and it'd be like a more drawn thing. Like imagine like Demon Slayer effects.
I don't know Demon Slayers, but
How? I'll show you.
I feel the I know this kind of like 2D comic lightning effect.
Like so like stuff like so it's just like little drawn effects to add to it. Like they can't see
Yeah.
this in the show. This is an unreal thing, but it's just to add to the animation, and it looks really nice.
Yeah, exactly. And this is exactly what I mean. You know, but when you look at it, the swoosh you get from the light that bounces off it, right? For me, I feel like it would be better to have the lightning actual act like those Demon Slayer effects,
Yeah, I
right?
agree.
But you know, okay, yeah, we can move on.
For this one, I quite like it minus the noise and the texture is way too strong.
The first thing I personally see is the neck. It feels like it just snapped. And I assume, Danny, what you did was you made or you put the raw model in Blender and then just pasted or like added one of the animations they also give you to it, and then you had the pose. For this, I would always recommend just, you know, try to look at it and make it more natural for how it, you know, would look for a human. Because for me, the pose is a bit off-putting, I'd say. But how you used of that, I really like the sparkle at the blade, for example, the light shine. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that
it's
was
beautiful.
executed very well. But the general pose, I think if you practice that a bit more, I think it would help your designs by like a ton.
Yeah, I also want to talk about the same issue we posted in the anime headers, and that's just the amount of these sparkle assets. I just don't
Yeah.
think they work too well. And
Yeah.
one thing I did really like though, that I failed to recognize before, is these rocks around. It really helps to create a scene. Because one thing I like to tell people when they're making headers is to imagine like a 3D scene in their head, like
Yeah.
that this head something's happening here, and I really like the scene these rocks create.
Yes, for sure. I don't I mean, I don't wanna say that I think my manipulation headers could have been an inspiration. At least I would be honored by it. I sent you the link to it, Emerald.
Yeah,
But
I'll put it
just
on stream now.
by just looking at the scenes that I tried to build, I think it. I mean, not that I mean that, you know, I by any means I don't think that's perfect, right?
Of course,
But I
but
think
it gives a really good.
kind
I
of
can
scene
explain.
building, right?
Yeah, to give like to create an environment within your header, like
Yeah.
obviously you don't have to go in Blender and make a whole 3D environment, put your character in and manipulate it. It's just
Yeah.
imagine your canvas as a 3D scene. Like
Yes.
you can move around it, you play things, you blur things so it looks like it's in the background, in the foreground. Like that is what you're trying to create.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And in terms of what you did there, Danny, I think it's a very nice start. Although I have to say, when you try to be realistic, don't use that kind of chromatic aberration. It's when, you know, it's kind of effect you use, but I don't
agree
think
with
it's appropriate for when you actually try to create a scene. Um, right. For me, I don't think you would have needed it. For me, what I think would have worked. Actually, Emerald, do you mind going to the to my portfolio again and showing the Roy header in my Twitter headers thing?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll do that now. Also, I just put chat on screen. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get on yours now.
Right. It should be the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's very visible there, but if you look at Roy and how the Oh no, wait, sorry. I think it shows better when on the Greninja Incineroar poster. My bad.
This was so beautiful, by the way. I don't know how you made these effects.
Thank you. I mean that's actually what I wanted to talk about. When you look at Incineroar's fur, I don't. I looking back at it now, I don't think the effect holds up, right? But what I try to do is have like this kind of when you look through fire, right? You can see this kind of like small distortion when you look at Incineroar's legs or at the bottom of his arm, right? You can see how the fire, the heat just distorts the what you can see, right? I think if you had done this, Danny, I think it would have if it would have worked so much better compared to a chromatic aberration effect. Sorry, with a bit of a long-winded tangent, but yeah, that's what I meant to say.
But yeah, no, it's important just to consider like some like you can have creative liberties, but real world rules can make things go from like a 10 to an 11. Like this charring thing with the whole distortion when you look through fire, like that's a real thing that happens, and FaZe used that as inspiration to make it look realistic.
Oh, sorry. Just as another little thing, you still have chat on screen.
Yeah.
In case you didn't want that.
No, I just put it on just then.
Okay.
Also, I forgot to mention, 2 more people want their reviews ported. So I'll have to add them to the list. So we have Leak, of course, and then we have Tommy. Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I don't think I have a lot more to say for that header. I think, of course, it's always more realistic color correction. How, for example, fire creates harsh shadows, and Roy doesn't really look like he has any shadows on him. Just looking at more, like actual real life inspiration or how they make it in movies, right? But I don't, it applies to every header. Even I don't think there is a single person on Earth that has made headers which, like 100% get it right, or at least maybe there are a few, but
Yeah, definitely. You can take creative liberties with things. Like it's a smash header, you're fine.
Yeah.
So let's hurry it up through the rest, I believe, because we have. I think we did all these last streams, so it's fine.
Oh, would you like to actually go to the second Sonic one?
The second
right
Sonic one. If you have something to say, yeah. I just want to write his thing.
Yeah, just this is where I think the lightning, like this lightning, I think looks great. I think this works so much better than the previous one.
Yeah, it very much fits with the character.
Yeah. Not just the character. I also mean like when you just have the 2 Sonic headers side by side, I think the second Sonic one just works so much better because it's blended better. Everything works better together. That's what I tried to say before, but
Yeah.
I that's not a hill I will die on. So, just mentioning it now and yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah. So Danny. So things to work on would definitely be so first the fan art thing we mentioned, like can't use fan art without.
You can write that in caps as well. I personally think it's a huge thing,
Don't.
Also, sorry, just as a little side note, will there be a VOD of this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
What else did we say? Don't overuse the sparkles.
Yeah, being more thoughtful of when you add something to a composition.
Yeah, being. And anything else you want to say specifically?
Just the general. Sorry, missing the word, like balancing, composition, and then just blending modes, color correction. Not that it's a huge thing, but
What about color correction? Sorry.
not that it's a huge thing, right? But it's like there, one can always work on color correction, composition, those kind of things.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I'll write those down. I did write pros, but that isn't what this is for, so I'm gonna remove those. All right. Since who do you want to do next? We have choices between Tommy and Leek, and Cookie wants it as well, I believe.
I'd say since you have the list of who everyone is, I was going to give you the choice of choosing.
Okay, well, we'll do Leek next since he asked first.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Oh, sorry, one last thing to add to Danny. I think the thing we said about creating the 3D scene, like actually imagining the scene, I think that is another bit.
Alright, awesome. Alright, so Leek has added 2 more projects and updated the thumbnails as well. So, do we want to talk about the thumbnails first? So, I'm glad, I think this was my advice last time, I told this to a lot of people, but what's a good thing to have on your portfolio is having your work be shown in the thumbnails, because that's what people click on it to see.
Yep.
This is definitely much better. Like, I don't know what yours last were, but as long as you have the work in the thumbnail, it's quite good. It could definitely be more visible, but it's fine if you want the icons. Like, I can see what that is. I can see what it contains before you even look at it.
For me personally, I quite like the color coordination and then of course the logos. But for me, one thing I haven't thought about really until I also noticed it just now, but it makes sense. Can you go on Behance and just go to the search and just type Twitter headers as the search. Right. When you just start to scroll down, you see in that everything kind of looks the same-ish, the usual headers placed in a specific way, and then having it kind of like a gallery. I honestly expected also people to have things like a Leak actually had, where it just has the Twitter logo, for example. I know that I've seen it before, but just in general, I know it's hard. Oh yeah, for example, the Discord or the anime, for example.
Yeah.
Right, it's like, I know it's hard, but just think about how you can give yourself an edge in terms of, trying to stand out. Because, for example, when we just look Twitter headers up, right, everything kind of looks the same-ish. I think you've had a nice start with having those specific things as the gallery thumbnails, I'd say. Not that I would like you to fix anything, but just as a thing to keep in mind, not necessarily as a thing to fix.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, just tangent over. Yeah.
This is new, I believe. Okay. We have a description at the start, right? I was tasked to create a variety of graphics to promote Team 3D's video upcoming Tekken 7 tournament. It was an invitational for legible players. My goal was to follow a theme that reflected the company's brand, a vaporwave/cyberpunk aesthetic look while integrating Tekken's assets into the design.
I like it.
I like it a lot. Like, this is a really nice take.
What do you have? Okay. I think the small introduction with the text, I think that was very nice. Like I think having something like this just as a little thing, just to show like that you care. I think it's wonderful. I really like it.
Everyone copied me with that. Everyone copied me. I was the first one to do this. Just saying.
Yes, and it's like when you just I don't know if people who watch this know who Pentagram is, but if you do, just go to the Pentagram website, just go to any of their branding projects, any of the work they did, and just read through it because they have a very nice article for each project, and then they also have like another story section where they go into more detail. And I think it adds so much more value to anything you provide, not just when you put it on a portfolio, but also when you talk with clients. Because even if it's just a Twitter header, your clients are still paying money for it.
Yeah.
And if I, even if like, when I give you money, even if it's not a whole lot, when I'm not treated, all that well, it's like it's still meh. But for example, if you, Emerald, like really sat down with me, like really made me feel like I was at home, it's so much better. It's just makes my entire week, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not quite sure what the first image is. If it's like meant to be a logo or a wallpaper or just an introduction image.
Let's see. Yeah, we aren't really told what this is, so maybe a caption. Also, can I just talk about this for a second? Once
Yeah.
again, can we just go back on that? But
Sure.
for everyone who's quite young and wants to go into graphic design, the biggest tip I have for you for getting into like a good school or university is so what they care about mostly, maybe even above the work itself, is the process and the study and the research. All of that you need to include in your portfolio. Like you see people just posting like their headers, they have a row of them and like, oh, this looks nice, people will hire me, people will want me in their university. Unfortunately, they value process more. Even if it's like a little speed art and a little description of what you've done, any mood boards, any little first drafts that look really bad, that's all process and that's what they're looking for. So that's what you should include.
Yeah, I 100% wholeheartedly agree. I think since I have nothing more to add. Yeah, I think pretty nice. Well said. Um, However, one thing about the text about Team 3D video. Just Emerald, could you scroll down a bit?
Yes, of course.
Just a tiny bit so you can see both texts.
Both texts. I'll zoom out.
Yeah. Right, it's like no. I like the first text because it's a sans serif font, it's readable, it's easier to read. And then below I'm okay, so I'll be very, very harsh about it now, not in a bad way, just to explain it. So when you first open the project and you see this just very legible typeface, and you think, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about, right? He's giving a small explanation, a small brief. That's perfect. And then you scroll down, and then you have a more like a cursive display typeface as body text, which is a big no-no. Like it makes it a lot harder for people to read, and it also doesn't keep the style consistent because essentially nothing about the presentation would have changed if you had just had another black text block with the text from up above. For me personally.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think like it's a very nice typeface that's been chosen, especially since the idea of it is for to read. If it was
Yep.
something more abstract and artsy, I can see the argument, but you are just meant to read that. Like there is nothing to take in design wise. You are just meant to read it.
Yeah. The only thing that 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 adds to it is like this kind of quote by Team 3D, and then the small vaporwave background that flows into the graphic. And other than that, you don't need the text. Just makes it hard to read.
Yeah.
And that's where I'd say you have so much else going on. Just leave it. Right. Not really needed.
I agree. Anyway, let's continue on to the actual designs themselves.
Yes.
Okay, so I will say to start it's I don't know if you've been asked to use this specifically for this team. It's the cursive font again. I'm not too big of a fan when you also have a big block display as well. I don't think they match quite well together. Again, it's probably for the vaporwave theme, correct? But I just don't think it works personally.
Sorry, could you? I had to go for a bit. Could you just what did you mention about something not working?
I don't believe that the cursive works here with the other typefaces, the blocky ones. Oh, he was asked. He was asked to do it specifically. Okay, never mind.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's unfortunate.
Because it's like, I mean, like every designer has like their own like inspiration folder, and when I look at it, I have like at least 5 to 10 typefaces that would work a lot better. But I know the struggle of being forced to use something that you think is wrong. So yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah. Other than that, with the character and such, I really really like the CC, and you found a quite nice quality image of Kazuya here. I was working on a Tekken thing the other day, and it is really unbelievably hard to make the renders look good. So I think you did a good job while also maintaining the vaporwave theme. I really like it.
Yeah. Something I'm not quite a fan of is the logo in or like the emblem. No, not emblem, but like this, the logo, right? Sorry, just a small thing about the logo. Way too complicated to be a logo. Just doesn't scale very well. It's more of like a nice asset. Not really a logo, but the thing that bothers me about it is like the having a graphic like that in with low opacity in the background. But I think Emerald, you probably know those moments where you like have an asset and it looks fine on its own, right?
Yeah.
But you can't really lower the opacity because the moment you start to lower it, it kind of loses the spark that it has, right?
Yeah, I got
Um,
told by Emerald Force, which is like advice I've taken with me everywhere. If you want something to be shown, show it. You can't be having it like completely transparent in the background because it just doesn't work. If you want to show something, show it. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think something, you know, it's like okay, just as a little like experiment. When you go down to the part where it has the people on it,
Yes.
so you can see that there is like this one. They always have like this kind of, the usual solid color, like duplicated layer, and then it's like moved by a bit, right? This like
Drop
typical
shadow.
visual effect, right? Yeah, you know the effect. We've all used it, right?
Yeah, we've all been through that phase.
Yeah,
It's one
and
thing you
it's
have
like,
to grow out of.
I'm for me it doesn't really work, and the reason why I mention it is because I think it I'll get to it. You know,
I
what
think
mean.
I think I think I know a fine
Right.
way to explain it is that it throws it off balance.
Yes and no, but the thing that I wanted to mention, right, is like this. It's a solid color. Take away that small noise. It's still a solid color, right? But the thing is, you don't really have that kind of pink anywhere else where it's like that big. And I think you could just take the logo, remove the drop shadow, and use the logo instead of the drop shadow, and have the people interact with the logo in some way. That's like catching two birds with one stone, and it solves both of the issues for me.
No,
Just
I agree. I do agree that would be a great use of the logo, and that way you wouldn't have to have it transparent in the background either.
Yeah, just as a little thought experiment. But other than that, yeah, it's and also for showing the having like this big grid where it's like has a bunch of different people on it. Okay, I see one person, right, and that's okay. Shows the graphic, right? then you have the second person there, and it's like, okay, well, same template, right? So it's okay. And then you have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and it's like right, and it's like I don't really know what I'm getting out of that. Why you is it because do you show this to me because you don't have much else to show, or is it like, right, it's a bit weird to look at the same thing over and over again with just slight alterations, right? I'm sure you know the agency Paper Crowns, but when you look at their Behance, they always have video presentations, and they always have like they have a very nice advertisement always, and I think the way they pose, right? They post their projects. It's just a whole other world of how they show similar assets in different contexts.
Yeah, I'm showing them now on stream. Like they're a completely different beast.
Yeah, they always have this like slider. They usually, especially, I think they often have it on their Twitter, where they're like, I remember one. I remember one thing where they had like a CS:GO, um, they had like a CS:GO stream graphic, right? Like just a small stream overlay. But what they did is have like a bunch of very nice showcases of it, like having so just imagine like having this like 16:9 image, right? And then you have it in as a 3D layer in After Effects, and then you kind of like rotate it around, zoom in, zoom out, just so you can see the stream asset from like different angles, right? And that adds so much more experience of seeing that than just having it just sit there as a PNG.
Yeah. Leak says it was hard getting photos from everyone, and the client was a bit last minute and non-communicative when it comes to feedback on a lot of it.
Mm,
So he came very unfortunate with the client, it seems.
unfortunate.
Leak, is there anything else specifically you want us to look at, or was that about
Yeah.
it? Because we've looked at your Yugari thing. I'm not sure if there's anything else you want us to look at.
Oh, so Leek, you're welcome. It's the more you learn about esports, the more you have like tons of things you can learn, and it leads us to refresh the page.
Oh, okay. Here we go. A personal brand identity. I'm gonna shut up. You can do this one.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Leek. Just as before I start, right? And this is kind of like, since I'm I'd say branding visual identity designer or specialized in visual identities. I have a couple of things that I can say right away about the process and how everything should work. But I don't know how long you'd like to have the stream, Emerald. So I'd just like to ask both of you how much in detail or where exactly you'd like me to focus on it. First ever logo design. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'll just read it out loud and give my opinions as I go on. Okay, so first we have the Emir German leak, and then a graphic designer as like a big lookup. Okay, I see it's and hello, my name is Emir Leek, a creative based in the United States who has a passion for visual communication problem solving. I've worked in an environment which is based around the gaming and esports industries, and now I've expanded my practices for business and branding related projects. My personal brand is simply the letter L. which stands for my last name, Leek.
Wait, Leek's actually your name. What the hell?
Identity is to showcase minimal and smooth design to reflect life values of simplicity. Okay. This is a huge thing for. Okay, just right away. The purpose of this identity is to showcase minimal and smooth design to reflect life values of simplicity. Emerald, can you do me a favor?
Yes.
And just go back to the Video International Tekken 7.
Yes.
Like, tell me, is this... Or actually, no, that's... like, do you have any, like, personal projects you did with any, without any outside client? Like just portfolio work? I assume the advertisements or something.
Yeah, it's okay.
What I'm trying to say is like, when you say you're something, it's like, okay, but do you really mean it, right? It's like, so, for example, phew, I don't know. Imagine I'm a designer who wants to focus on life improvement, right? And then I only make graphics for esports, where everyone just sits inside their home all day, right? Okay, maybe not the best example, but what is right, where it's like when you say you are about something, think about if it's like actually you, right? Because for those wallpapers and posters, you know, I can see the simplicity, but I don't know if it's like, you know, are you really such a fan of minimal and smooth design? Like, I don't really think that this is your core principle where you wake up and think to yourself, ah, yes, I want to create a world where everything is minimal and smooth. Right? It's... I know that branding is a hard thing, right? But I don't know, it's... logo design is such a big thing, I can't get into all of those, but just Google a few things yourself. Just look at people like Sagi Havif, Martin Neumeier, Paula Scheer, right? And how they approach brand identity. Because, for example, when you just scroll up or leave it there, and it's like, okay, you have the stars, which are like pretty pretty small things, right? If you were really all about simplicity, wouldn't you just have it left blank? Just as a little provocative question. But I don't really know how to otherwise just how to otherwise break it to you, I guess, right? And yeah, secondly, for the black and white versions, it's like, yeah, it's okay, it's not it's nothing outstanding, because when you go towards like more professional hex and RGB codes, for you it's probably alright, because it's like, you're an online designer, you're living in the online world. But usual style guides need something like they need hex, RGB, CMYK, Pantone codes, then RAL codes, and tons of others, or like that's like those 5 things, I think. Hex, RGB, CMYK, Pantone, RAL. Those like the basics, what you need for pretty much every color combination. And not that I mean to dunk on you, but because it's like, your first personal branding thing. Just try to look out for it in the future. Just there are tons of resources you can look up about style guides and what needs to be included in everything. And since this is kind of my area of expertise, of course I focus on it, right? um, but yeah, just as a little FYI. And also, yeah, just as another thing, this kind of dark blue, like very dark soft blue, I'd say, right? Minimal and smooth, valuing simplicity. Kind of blue gives me a more professional, more bit of like a banking thing. When you go smooth, I would have expect smooth and minimal. You expect this like kind of more soft, more bright color. What I can say is like try to find out exactly what you're aiming towards. Right. Actually, okay. Sorry. I'm rambling on, and I think I found the perfect example. Right. Go to Emerald Cookie Code to George no. Sorry. Like behance.net/Nowak design.
Yep.
Do you know how to spell it, or?
Yeah, I know. Wait, is that how you spell it?
Yeah.
No, I swear that's how you spell it.
Yes. Wait, is there Behance gone?
Did they change it? Like, I know who
Wait.
George Nowak is. Like, hold on, I'll just type in George Nowak. Behance.
It's just Nowak.
Oh, it's just Nowak? Okay, well, here it is.
Yeah, just Nowak. Oh man, he doesn't. Okay, wait. Go to no, just go to. They don't have the personal branding thing anymore. Just go to the URL nowalk.design. Okay, sorry. This is. I know it's hard to listen to me talk because it's like so many thoughts about it, right? Okay, there we go. Boom. Could you stay at the top?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, graphic and motion designer from California, focusing on the incorporation of design strategy within intentional brand solutions. And wow, what a website! Right. So the first thing you see when you look at it, right, you can see it's like the typical, as simple as possible. You immediately get who this person is, right? They're professional. That's what I think. Black and white, no nonsense, minimalistic, which you can also see from the logo. And then you also have those taglines like ideas / in motion, right? You immediately have a feeling for who they are, right? And so for the logo at the top left, their explanation, they once mentioned it. They also have a few resources of his personal branding and what thoughts went into it, right? But essentially, for me, it's like he does every Saturday, right? He has a Twitch stream where he has portfolio reviews, teaches stuff, and recently they've gone more into this like TikTok content creation thing. But it was like that at the start. And for me, it was always like, oh yeah, he's a motion designer. He helps bring people forward, and then you have this like very Swiss type design, the arrow between those two brackets, right? And I think they meant it as a kind of the brackets being like like each project, right? And moving along projects or something like that, right? And it's this kind of like no nonsense, wanting to help people get better at design, and then the overall aesthetic of the logo, right? Remote, do you think that the logo fits to the theme of the website? Just as a question for you.
To an extent, yeah.
To an extent, what do you mean?
Um, let me think, because it's like it's a very weird question you've just asked me.
It's a very
Because the thing that stands out to me of why it would fit is the color. There's no text on the logo, and the rest of the website is black white text.
Mhm.
So the only attributes I can attribute to it is black and white. So that's why I'm saying to an extent. So yes, because there's nothing else I can really attribute to it. It's a very simple website.
And I mean the logo. Does the logo fit to the website?
Yeah.
And why?
Because of as the thing I explained before, it is
Just
white and the background is black. That is
okay.
all I can see from the rest of the website.
Could you do me a favor and go to Leaks personal branding thing?
Yes.
And would you say Leaks logo or Noax design fits better to the website?
Definitely no X.
Okay, and why?
Because you can see that, like, again with the
Right.
attribute thing.
Yeah, of course, right? The attributes, just the boldness of the logo, the way it forms around. Leaks logo has this kind of it's this very smooth, and then it has text going around, and then it has like those like decorative stars around it, and then when you go back to Noak's logo, it's like no nonsense. It's there. It's bold. It no nonsense. It fits to the website. It fits to who this guy is, right? And that's essentially how, or like one of the main points there always is, is it's hard to explain, but when something just works, right? When you just look at it and you think, oh yeah, that fits. It seems to be appropriate for what this tells me, right? And I personally think that the logo fits extremely well, both for motion designer wanting to help people move forward, right, and also like the general aesthetic he has. And of course it's very easy to say that once an identity is finished, but this is something that a lot of people struggle with, but it is needed, because if you want to have something like this Noack.design site where everything just feels right, that's the thought that has to go into it.
All right. Is there anything else? Because I think we should go on to someone else.
Yeah, sorry, this is
That's why I
just
said I'd shut up.
yeah, just to go back to the leak person branding thing, and I'll just go over the rest really quick. I think we've talked about enough about making things look right. Okay, when you scroll down a bit towards the the typeface, it's like I don't know. It seems a bit weird to have a I'm forgetting the name. The like okay, the body text. That's a neo-grotesque sans serif font, and above it's a geometric sans serif font. And as the worst example possible, you wouldn't have a headline with Arial and then a body text with Helvetica, because it's like it's essentially the same thing, a neo-grotesque sans serif font. You don't really need you don't really need to have the switch. It just looks weird combined, and when you move up to the explanation, like hello, my name is Amir Leak, creative based in the United States, and then in the second paragraph, the purpose of this identity is to showcase a minimal and smooth design. For me, it feels a bit weird to have the A in like the normal sans serif thing, and then the A in minimal is like the geometric A, and I feel like this seems very weird for me, because you go in either direction, personally, and I feel this is like kind of a mix that doesn't really work. Yeah, moving on to the business card. leakagfx@gmail.com. I don't know, man. It's like having a business email that doesn't have the same name as your actual company name. I feel it. Just mentioning it, I won't go into a big rant, but yeah. And then business cards, the calendar, and then the coffee cup. And this is where I would say, think about who you are, because it's like, as from what I can see, right? This is just kind of like plinkering around with mockups from what I can see, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, right? Like, no offense, but just, you will never have your logo on a coffee cup, and by the looks of it, I don't think you'll have your logo on a business card anytime soon, because to me you're kind of an online designer, right? And so it's just kind of like, well, it's a mock-up, but it doesn't actually show how the logo is being used. Same with the calendar.
No, bro, watch when Leak has like a cafe one day and you get instantly banned.
Yeah. Man. Should have thought of that earlier. Fuck. Wait, no, sorry.
You can say I don't mind. You can do it.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if that gets your Twitch banned.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. All right.
No, okay, sorry. We just had this like presentation. A friend of mine gave like a presentation about the US, and that's when I learned that apparently saying like the effort and such is like actually a huge deal in the US, and pretty surprised me.
That is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, because I cursed a lot, or actually curse a lot, but never mind. I'm just rambling.
Oh, Leek's parents are opening up a cafe. You're done.
Oh no. Okay. But still, you're a graphic designer, and as a graphic designer, you don't need your branded coffee cups. Maybe your maybe your coffee store does, right? But your graphic design, yeah, it's kind of humorous, right? But I think that's what I'd say. It's like a mock-up on a coffee cup, same way you wouldn't put a construction site logo. You wouldn't put it on a like gaming controller. It's just like what, right? Yeah, essentially.
Okay, let's detail the things he needs to work on. Could you give me a list and I'll write them?
Look into branding.
Yep.
And then a few names. I'll send you the names, and you can copy paste them.
Yep.
There is also a YouTube series by The Future called Building a Brand, where it's like an actual design studio, and they go over making a whole new identity for a beer company. It's a very nice series. I can only recommend it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
All right, awesome.
yeah. So is the the CEO of The Future. Yeah.
All right, let's do Tommy next since he's been patiently waiting.
Okay. Yeah, Tommy, let's go.
Let me grab his. Let me go on Twitter. Headers time.
Oh yeah, I think you can have the stage again more. Sorry for taking so long. Yeah, this whole talking thing,
Let me see where we should go up to. We'll go up to the J one, right? I think I've critiqued everything below that, I think.
Okay.
Just correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy, if you're still there. Alright, this one, the Chaos Kid header. For me,
right.
it's a lot of quality issues. The renders are very low quality. The background assets are very low quality. I don't know I don't know if you're just copy and pasting the assets you use, or you're saving them, or you're just not really So there's this thing you can do on Google, right, where if you type in, I don't know, anime character, you can use the tools on images and filter it by large images. Even if you have to cut out an image, it's much better than having something lower quality. So just check out the quality of the thing. You can hover over it, it tells you the dimensions. You generally want something around the size of your canvas. At least in the thousands. In the thousands are good, 2,000.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's just quality.
Yeah. Of course, the biggest flex would be becoming an actual artist and then offering both services of the header, and then you also offer drawing it, and then the whole quality is just going to be better and you earn more money. So yeah, perfect. Business strategy 101.
True. Drippy says he always uses reverse image search since it puts the largest image first. That's interesting, actually. Sure, Penne, I will make sure to do that. That's interesting, Drippy. That's a very important. Like, I didn't know that actually. If you reverse image search, you just get a large one. There's this website I like to use actually. It's mainly for video games things. It's called PidgeyWiki, and it has everything in like ridiculously high quality. Like this random Mass Effect art.
Oh yeah,
8,000 by 5,000 pixels.
In the early days of Smash Brothers, when the Ultimate Renders came out, I think we have that website pinned in the Smash Design Discord, right?
Probably.
Yeah, such a treat.
Bro, it's honestly so good. Like, we could get Mario. Like, who thinks of the Mario and Rabbids thing goes 2,400 quality? Like, what the hell? Oh, that's...
Actually, Emerald, do you remember that one cloud header that I did with like the battlefield stage being broken up in the background?
I think so, actually.
Yeah, the battlefield is directly from that huge battlefield image. But yeah, I can only wholeheartedly agree. Just the overall the textures, also for me it's also the colors where it's like darkish green and then like muddyish yellow and red, and then you have the chaos kit, and then you have of course you have it stylized like a chainsaw. I don't know if it's a custom thing you did or if it's just
That is a custom thing, yeah.
Okay. It kind of it's I think it's on and all it's well made as an asset. For me it's a bit weird because it's like the chaos kit, it's a self-made thing and I think it looks fine on its own, right? But then it's like surrounded by this large empty space of just background, and then otherwise the asset isn't really all that well integrated, and then you have like a square with like a clipped mask, a character inside it, and everything is just kind of, it's a lot, and but it's just there and not really blended all that well.
I think the main thing to address is just purpose when you place things.
Yes.
Exactly. Everything you place needs to have a purpose. This is Tommy's cookie. Also, you didn't put your portfolio in the thread. You have 10 minutes, bro, or I will never look at it ever. But yeah, no, it's just purpose. You just gotta like the chainsaw text. It has a purpose because it's Chainsaw Man. That makes sense. That's good. I like that a lot. The blood on the text as well. It makes sense. Chainsaw killing people, whatever. I think that all works quite well.
So
it's just like.
Sorry, I didn't know you weren't finished yet.
Yeah, and then it's just like image of character just there, like in the square. Like these are focal points, so it makes sense, cause to represent the show. This is just there, and then there's empty space around the rest.
Yeah, and for me, you also mentioned it. But I mean, do you know those characters that are in that header?
Denji and Power, I think their names are. I did not read Chainsaw Man.
Is she like actually completely white?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because what I wanted to mention is like, for me, just really, I mean, like those characters are from different sources. Like the art style is completely different, the shading, coloring, right? And what I wanted to mention was like you have this, like, white-skinned guy, and then this completely white girl, and right. I don't know if it's like actually like that, but for me it was just consistency matters. But if it's something that's actually in the show like that, then of course it's fine.
Yeah, I think this one is from like a cover, and this one's actually from the manga. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the difference in style is. Again, I haven't read Chainsaw Man, but that does look like a cover more than the actual thing within the manga.
Okay.
Next one. Again, again, there's a quality, like these images in the background look really nice, but these ones in the front, they don't match up with the quality. I feel like if you're gonna you need quality consistency. It's either it's all high quality or it's all like mild quality or it's all low quality. I feel like that's what works the best.
Yeah, and it's also like, what's that character called?
I think he's called I didn't watch Demon Slayer either. What's his name?
I'll just call him Green Checkerboard Guy. Um, okay, never mind. We know who we're talking about, but essentially for me it's like the purpose of it, because I feel like with all of those anime headers, it's just like the sense of dread of like not a single pixel has to be unedited, and it's like you can take a break. You don't need to have the same characters for 4 times plus then another blonde guy in there.
Tanjiro, that's his name.
Okay. For me, it's still a green checkerboard guy, but thanks. And but you know, for me, it's like I don't really feel the need to, to have the same guy there 4 times. I think one is enough, and then you try to balance the render with the Jonathan text, and then you can create a header around it. But as it stands here, it's all very cluttered and not very pleasant to look at because there's so much going on.
I actually disagree a bit here because I think this is like because you're taking it more from a professional aspect. With anime designs in general, they are generally very stylized. So you know, like the age-old question, what's the difference between art and design? And there's one that I partially agree with, in that like one is more abstract while one communicates a message. Like design is to communicate a message more. But I feel like with anime headers specifically, they are way more abstract and made to just look nice rather than communicate something. I feel like having the same character multiple times is fine if used correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually quite like this, minus the quality issues. I feel like if you're gonna go cluttered, you should fully go. You should double down on it. I agree on that point. Like it's very cluttered, but I don't think it's cluttered enough. If that makes sense.
Yeah, the Jonathan background text, it's like, aside from the low opacity thing, it's like completely.
Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah,
So,
makes sense.
Yeah, pick a side.
And yeah, you're right. I view this from a completely different angle, but yeah, what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah, so it's just like I want like a bit more leniency with anime because it's very like there's a lot of anime heads I look at and I'm like I would not see this in a billboard in real life advertising something, but it's very nice to look at.
The 14-year-old anime fan that wants to get their header made by their favorite designer. Right?
Yeah, it's a shot of dopamine to look at. It's a shot of dopamine.
Also, just as a little, nothing about the header, but for the design versus art, there was one quote. I don't know where exactly I heard that, but essentially, the theory goes that the difference between design and art is design is always planned, that there was always thought behind something you do, and everything else. I don't know if you agree with that, but it's something that I heard and since then always followed. Maybe you'd like to.
No, that is very interesting. Yeah, because I really love the argument of art versus design. I absolutely adore it. I think it's great because these answers are very like thought provoking. Yes. Because there's a lot of things I make that I feel like have like they have no process, no thought behind them. I went to Photoshop and I felt like making something one day. It's abstract. Yeah. It means nothing. There's no message to communicate, and that would be a cool thing to class as art rather than a design. Yeah, so sure. Yeah, that's very cool. Interesting.
Yeah, awesome. I think we can move on to the next one.
Yes. I think this one. I got confused a lot when I look at this. I don't know what's happening in this header. I think that's the main thing. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's like, yeah, the renders, everything just mixes together because it's like I mean, I get that the theme, it's overall very monochromatic, but it just blends in too much, even though there is an outline. And yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But I do like the approach. I can appreciate the approach.
Well, next one. This is the last one we'll be looking at, I believe. Unless you have other projects, right? Oh no, you link this one specifically. So.
Right. Yeah.
This is one of my favorites from you specifically, because there's a lot of direction in it. Everything moves to the right, and I like that. The clouds go there, the characters looking there, the thing behind the characters moving towards the clouds. I quite like that. It's just a quality issue for me specifically again. Very, very much the big issue.
Yeah, I personally think that. Okay. Of course, there is always this balance you have to create between the effort and time you put into something versus the outcome you get. And for me, the thing that I immediately saw and appreciated was the minimalism with the overall, like, I don't want to say Japanese, but like this, the very traditional Asian style, right? Um, yeah, I'll just put it like that because I don't know exactly which culture it is, right? Um, and I was happy. I was happy. Like I really like the overall theme of the setting, but then I looked at the clouds, and then I was like, okay, well, you have the one style of cloud where it's like this kind of more blocky-ish, or at least it looks like clouds, right? Just very stylized clouds, and then you have this like uh I want to say Naruto-ish clouds.
The Akatsuki clouds, yeah.
Um, and for me personally, just Emerald, imagine if they had, used that first cloud shape and just made the pattern inside the clouds the same way it currently is in the Naruto cloud, but in the same way as the blocky cloud,
Yes.
right? And then for me, the overall theme of it would have been better because now what I see is like, oh yeah, they're a bunch of assets, recolored and overall they're different, right? It wasn't made, for one thing together. It's just mixed in, and I think that would have helped a lot because I actually quite like how it looks.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. One more thing is just like I know you've worked on this because I've told you, like with the Chainsaw Man thing specifically. So this probably doesn't apply too much, but it's just taking more time on the text. I feel like text is one of those things where like no matter how much you work on the background, your text should take around the same time. You should be working on that like just as much as everything else, even more. Like the text is very important, especially if you want to stylize towards a specific thing. I feel like the text could have heavily been worked on here.
Right. And it's also, it kind of has to be appropriate for it, actually, because the brush strokes signalize that something was painted over. But then when you give the brushstroke text a drop shadow, it kind of, defeats the purpose of it, doesn't it?
Yes, actually, you're right. I could then never pointed that out. But yeah, so it's about creating like when we said about like the incineral thing with like it was distorted in the fire. If we imagine someone during a brushstroke, I don't know if they could create a shadow behind that.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. It's, yeah. I think we don't have to talk about more because I think we've gotten the point across. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, things to work on. Quality issues. What else could we say?
The thing about having a consistent like consistent assets inside projects, so they look like they work together.
Yes. All right, awesome.
And then I'd actually say one more thing about like I'll just put it as an example, like realism, and then I forgot what it's called when you like the double point, like two dots over each other. What's that called?
Two dots over each other. Wait, what do you mean, sorry?
Yeah, like things to work on, and then the 2 points, the two dots.
Oh, the colon?
Code. Okay.
Me when
Yeah.
English is
Like
not my first
um,
language.
like realism column. Example given. Brush stroke text is painted on so it doesn't have a drop shadow.
All right, awesome.
Like okay, just I love rambling on it. Just wonderful.
Let's do cookies next since I'm checking the members of the stream, and Cookie and Daggerpog are the only ones here, and Dagger
Yes.
sent his second for his, so more get added to the list.
All right.
Okay, Cookie, my boy. Now how much have you updated since we last went on your thing, Cookie? Cause I think we've seen all this, right? Oh, goats and oats one. This oats and goats one. This is new. Alright, let's talk about this. This is so nice. I really like it.
Ah man, because we just had it, the two clouds, and now imagine the Samus and the Ridley. Imagine if they had like the same pixelated style.
Oh, that is right. Everything here is pixelated minus that and the socials.
Yeah, and then of course the no, not a head crab, but the the flying jellyfish, right?
Yes.
But it's
The
rotated
Metroid.
and it's not. Come again?
The Metroid, that's what it's called, the Metroid.
The Met. Ah. Yeah, okay. The Metroid then, yeah, right? It's like it's rotated, and so the pixel thing doesn't really work. It's it's like like not real pixel-ish, and that's kind of unfortunate. I also would have given the oats and ghosts a like e- for example, look at the Doom logo, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
the back has its own border, and then it makes the makes the text stand out more, right? Rather than being the same thing and just being separated by the fact that it says oats and goats. Because imagine if like the side things were white on the end, for example, and then you have more contrast between the text, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think overall it's a very nice idea.
Yeah, I really like it. It's very cool, and it was a good return since you hadn't made a header for ages, like ages and ages. The Waddles one. I think we did look at that last stream. Cookie, you resubmitted without anything to talk about. I don't know if we talked about this on the Spargo one actually. No, we did because we were talking. Yeah, okay.
I actually remember that.
Sorry,
I
Cookie.
actually remember that during last stream. Yeah.
All right, things to work on.
Update port better.
Update port. Thank you. Anything on the oats and goats header that we should talk about?
Don't rotate the Metroid because I think you can just watch the small stream part because I think right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't rotate pixels. Looks weird, and then would have been cool if Samus and Ridley would be pixel as well, because now they don't fit with the aesthetic of the header.
Alright, beautiful. Daggerpog is next. I think he sent me individual things. Yep. So I need to bring up Twitter for this one. Alright. So
Could you send the link in DMs as well?
Yes, there's a lot of links. Give me a sec.
Oh no. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, first point to work on. Get a portfolio. Behance is free.
He has one, it's just not updated. So update it.
Not an excuse. Unexcusable. Yeah, I'm just saying it that that harsh because yeah, you're gonna be at that point where it's like, oh man, there is like a super big important project I really wanted to have, and now all I have are Twitter threads, and yeah, it's not fun. I've been there, and you don't want to be there.
Oh, so his thing is he doesn't need to like he's busy with like a lot of clients he has already, so he doesn't really need to update his port because he already has like he's stacked with clients already.
Okay, let's just move on then.
Take one day out your week. Anyway, quality. I don't know if this is Twitter compression, but I don't think it is because it doesn't match. But the Ezreal splash art is very different. What I was saying before is this website. This has leak splash art. Like, let me get that specific Ezreal skin real quick. Like, here it is. Right, 4,000 by 2,000. That's way too big for a YouTube thumbnail. So that would make the highest quality thing ever. Like, this website is broken. It's busted.
Wait, could you go to like the original file just so I can see what the full thing would look like?
What do you mean, sorry?
Yeah, like so I can see the full picture of what it looks like, you know, low res.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, that doesn't work because I copied this.
Yeah, you have to click on the
original file.
Yeah.
So there's a massive quality difference there.
Yeah, it's like night and day.
You modified the colors. Yeah, you can still modify the colors on a higher quality image, and it will still remain
it's
the
like,
same quality.
Yeah, the YouTube thumbnail 101 is just do the saturation adjustment layer and just bump it up until it looks too weird. But yeah, overall, yeah, I'm not an expert on YouTube thumbnails, so that's where I'd actually leave it more to you.
Again, sharpening also wouldn't create this pixelated effect on the Ezreal render. Like, this is just a low quality image. There's no dancing around that. Like, this isn't any of your color correction.
Yeah. And also, what you can also do is just do, you can duplicate the layer, and then on the top layer you can do the high pass filter in Photoshop, and then set the layer to the overlay blending mode, and then just mess around with the opacity, because I think that works better than sharpening. And plus when you actually have a really nice like 4K image, I don't know if you need sharpen. You said that it's done in the community, but I feel like just because it's done often doesn't mean it's good to do it, right? After all, the final product should be a good thumbnail.
Yeah.
And I think you've done that well with like the blue yellow, right? Like, it's a nice color combination. Blue shirt, white shirt fits well, everything, right? The composition I think works well, right? But yeah, that's just, you know, something I think we would recommend.
Yeah, and if it is actually just compression, this is why you need to put it on your portfolio.
Emerald, I love you. Thank you.
It was basically 10 times the work because of the picture I got, the low quality shit. Well, again, like
Yeah,
the
now you
people
have to do.
portraits you can't help, but this like you this is a website you can use Pidgey.net. This is a website. All right, next one. We won't talk about the quality again.
Yeah. Okay, so the quality. Um. Yeah, I mean here actually looks fine on the background at least. The yeah, quality. Oh, yeah, let's get past it. The pink text with the um yellow top, I think works well, and then the blue background, like the blue color accessories, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think overall it works well.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. It works well for a thumbnail specifically as well.
although I have to say this one thing, right? Um, Emerald, could you go to uh YouTube and the channel Game Maker's Toolkit?
Uh, can you write that down? I couldn't write the last bit.
Yeah, yeah. Essentially, Game Maker's Toolkit.
Oh, toolkit. I didn't hear the last bit. That was muffled for me. Whatever.
Yeah, and just when you go to the YouTube and whatnot, right? And you hear and you when you click on videos, I think you have to scroll down a bit because they actually kind of stopped doing this kind of right. And you have this kind of like the bold striking colors, right? Um, I think yeah. For example, this what makes a good puzzle in the bottom right, and what you can see in this account, right? Um, right, it's like the overall. I don't think it's the best example, but um the overall theme of uh the overall theme of the channel or Emerald, I think. Do you know kurz gesagt or in a nutshell?
No, I do not.
The oh yeah, just I think that's an even better example.
Oh yeah, I do know this. Yes. If it'll load.
That's kurz gesagt in a nutshell.
It's not loading. Oh, here we go.
You were cut out for the last 10 seconds.
Oh, brilliant. My internet just died then.
Uh,
He says YouTube's inconsistent. It's mainly because of the themes you're talking about. It can be a decent thumbnail. It will attract people.
I personally think that it depends on what kind of it
People have
depends on what,
styles. I have styles for all my clients, and not most of them are the same.
to me it kind of depends on what you're going for. If you're like in this kind of very oh yeah we need people to click, right, then of course you know you can just kind of do whatever, right. For me I always view thumbnails as a kind of expansion of the visual identity of the company or the product, right. And for example, for kurz gesagt, when you look at their thumbnail, right, and immediately when you see in the YouTube search bar, oh yeah, that's oh hey, a new in a nutshell video, right, and I think that's why, among other things, their channel is working so well, and so just as a little explanation, I don't think though your thumbnails are bad, just as a kind of like thing to say like hey um I'd love to see how, for example, you're building the visual identity on the individual companies, if that makes sense. Like having thumbnails work inside a huge organization. Let me know if that makes sense.
I like
But
this.
I think this very striking. Nyla is crazy, and then the bright bold colors. I think it's very nice, and I'd love to see. Um, I mean, imagine if like the entire visual identity of a company was like that. This like very striking, the very 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 striking, very bold colors. Not something that I think is wrong about your thumbnail, but yeah, just as an idea.
Can we say anything about this?
I don't know if you're cutting out, but yeah, sure, go ahead.
No, I have nothing to say about it.
Um. Yeah, it's usually like go to Photoshop and on the neural filters, just close the mouth. I don't know, it's just like kind of general when you have photos of people, you don't really want to look into their open mouths. It's kind of like something that's in general very unpleasant, I think, to look at. Like for example, when you look at all those things like Parship or like dating sites, they always have this like slightly open so that the teeth are showing. And I think the Photoshop neural filter could help, or just ask the company for a new picture. But that's just me rambling on, I guess. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah, it works. YouTube thumbnails are very like, I'd say like as long as you have like big like readable text, it's generally fine. There's like a lot there's a lot of leniency with it.
Right.
As long as it attracts the person.
Personally, I'd say the
Oh, yeah.
on the tier list with the D character on the right side, the D being negative, I would have just cut out the hair because it kind of lowers the contrast of viewing it at a glance, I guess. But it's not a huge deal, just something to mention because I can't really mention anything else.
Alright, I really like this one. I insanely like it. What happened to his shoulder though? Is it always that small? I guess so, yeah, okay. That's just me being stupid, okay. Hi, Tens. Happy birthday, Tens.
Oh, happy birthday.
No, I think this works quite well, especially since what's it called again? So this is for Clickbait, right? A different channel, but it follows like the Sentinel's colors and overall style.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, you have to use that color palette. Well, that makes sense then. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, okay. So I think the reason it's always very difficult to kind of critique thumbnails is because you kind of need the context around it. For thumbnails, you have to kind of see, okay, did it actually influence the views in a positive way? And I'm sure it did. But with us just seeing the graphic, it's kind of hard to critique it, right? Because it's not like headers where it's. I mean, you can critique what a header looks like, but you can't really critique what a thumbnail is like, because they're for different aspects. Same with the happy birthday tents or those general purpose.
Oh, this is a Twitter post. This isn't a thumbnail. Okay.
Yeah, of course. I meant the general purpose graphics on Twitter, and if it fits to the visual identity and it fits to the style, and then I don't think there is much that can be talked about, other than maybe make a few graphics where the text isn't always left, right? Because you need some kind of like you need to break up the sameness, but without us knowing it, I think Emerald and I can't really talk about what exactly makes your graphics great, which I think is unfortunate.
Yeah. Though I do want to say this one. I mentioned this on the May 25th, and I stand by my opinion. I could eat this text. I adore this so much. It's so lovely. Like the colors, the gradient. Oh. Like the white outline, it's so nice. I really like this text so much.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't really know where those why those I guess it's game UI or effects where all those ones are coming from inside the text. Do you see that too?
Yeah, I see them. I'm not too sure where that's from either. Is that just a thing with Lily Pichu, or is that who it is? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, but in any case, yeah, I think the texture is nice. I think it works well. Maybe could have been bigger. I don't know. Uh, it's YouTube somehow. You know, kind of hard to critique in that way because
It works.
yeah.
Here's some headers. Awesome. Let's see what we're dealing with. Okay. For this one, I don't know if you'd agree with me, but I don't. It's the perspective that's throwing me off a lot because everything else is very front facing, and then there's just this, which seems to be fairly randomly perspective changed.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh yeah, no, I know where the ones come from now. He just explained it. So it's related to the runes that were used on Lux. The rune is called First Strike. You have to be a League player to get it, bro.
ah, um, what I see on that insert text. Do you see the wobble on the F?
Yes, I see the wobble on everything. It all has a wobble.
Ah, personally, I'm not a big fan of that because it's like I get the perspective thing. I actually wouldn't mind that if it was like tilted and all of that. Because it looks nice, of course. But the tilt when you have like this very infer bold text where it's like behind each other, which gives the overall graphic like a sort of boldness. Because when you view it, when you break it down, essentially, you don't just have that small yellow infer text. It's connected to this entire box with the huge infer text and the video editor for TSM FTX. And that has a certain weight to it. And I don't think it's great that it wobbles because it kind of contradicts what you'd expect. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. I get it. Other than that, I quite like the backing and the idea of this like dark room with like glowy items. It really builds up an environment. So I quite like that. I think the grain it's a lot of grain, but I do think it works.
Yeah, then I like the colors too. Maybe I would have messed around with another tertiary color aside from the cyan and purple. Maybe there could have been a better one. Oh yeah. We mean that we don't really like the wobble in general, or at least I think that's what you meant, Emerald, right?
Yes, the wobble just in general, like not the fact that you didn't do it for everything. It's just the fact that it exists.
Yeah, I think it's great that of course with the style guide never distort any logos, right? Of course that's great, and I think it's great that you always stick to it because it's necessary. But since it's like a massive block, it feels so weird that it's wobbled in the first place. Yeah. Other than that, yeah,
Go next.
I think we said everything.
Aqua. Let me turn on my light real quick.
Of course.
You can go off.
I think something we can always mention first. I don't know if that's fan art, but it sure looks like it. Yeah. Of course, fan art always ask for permission, get the license, because you certainly know your stuff. Is what I mean, right? And the thing is, like, you pay attention to the style guides and usages of what a logo should and shouldn't be done with. But then we get back to anime heroes where it's like, oh yeah, man, the fan art stuff, and of course you also need to own a license to use it, or I guess the consent of the individual artist. But I think we should only just mention it once because we always say it, I guess, Emerald.
Yeah. So though another thing with like the art, not fan art, but like I feel like there's a lot of different styles here. There's only two renders here that actually are the same style. I feel like they should be fairly consistent if you're gonna place multiple.
Actually, I'd say okay, sorry, I just saw it was a person not used for any selling purpose. Okay, so for me, okay, I don't want to go all that big into it, but imagine, or like, since all of us are like graphic designers where we sell our services online, and when we make art, we post it, and we get recognition, we get feedback and stuff from it, and with everything we post, we advertise for it, right? And that helps us gain revenue. I personally am completely against it. Or for me at least,
Yeah, it's a
I'm
very
of the opinion
personal
that I'm
thing.
right. Right.
I don't think you should really like you can follow that just to be safe, but like it's that is a very personal thing for Faye. I think it's fine if you have the license to use it for personal use. Like it may be assisting in you making money, but you're not selling it. That is not commercial use of the render itself. That is something you've made for fun and just put on your account.
Yeah, I think we've discussed it, and yeah, we can leave it at that, I guess. But I'm interested in what you mean by the two styles, Emerald, because for me it's all four have different styles. When you, for example, look at all of the hair colorings.
Oh, well, true. But either way, my point really being that I feel like there should be a consistent style. Because definitely, like, this one is a screenshot from the anime in comparison to this one, that which either is fan or just looks like from, like, a mobile game or something.
Yeah,
These do not match. There is a giant, like, quality difference in, like, the line art, the shading, everything's very different, and I don't think it fits too well.
yeah, and of course, the asset consistency, for me it's also like, if you look at the, like, below the first A on Aqua, you have like spikes, um or like the first A on the Aqua text, the first like the pink spikes where it's like very rigid, and then next to it you have clouds, and then in the middle you have the abstract swooshes, and on Aqua you have a rounded rectangle over the eyes, and overall it's very, I wish there was more consistency, and I think it would have helped everything just tie the header a bit better together. But I like the colors. I think the white, blue, pinkish color scheme works well.
Yeah,
Uh,
fair enough. You have submitted them, so we will still critique them, of course. But obviously, we're not discrediting you as a designer, of course, because you barely do banners. It's just you have submitted them. Go next. I really like this, but I think it has a similar issue to what we were saying about the Tommy one, the J header, where like um the doodles and the brushstrokes are really cool, but I don't think there'd be like I don't know about this like stroke drop shadow thing behind this little brushstroke. I don't know about that.
for me, the reason if it's bad, what it is, never mind. Um, typical portfolio stuff. If you think it's bad, don't submit it. But of course, never mind. I won't talk about it anymore. For me, the thing why I think this works better than the Asian themed one, right? I'd say that the Asian themed one, it's like it's flat. It seems like it's on a canvas, right? And for this one, it's like abstract on the top right and left. No, top right and bottom right. You have like this kind of blurred text, and it seems like there are all of those brushstroke assets floating around in the air, and you zoom out like an atmospheric intro, for example. That's what I get from this graphic. And I think the AE Premiere Pro and I don't know what the last one is.
That would be Media Encoder. Wait, what?
Oh wow! Oh wow! Okay.
Is that Media Encoder? It's ME.
Yeah, I think it could be that.
Wait, let me see. I have it installed. Yeah, it's Media. Why do you have Media Encoder on?
Like, man.
I mean, it makes sense. That's what you use on After Effects and Premiere. Is this something?
Oh, yeah.
Is there like deeper Media Encoder lore?
Yeah, he's a pro. He's a pro media encoder user.
That's got to be a job, right? Someone who just sits there on Media Encoder and encodes people's projects. Like they have to deal with the crashes.
I mean, yeah, I get it. It's like you need to have 3 programs because it looks better, and then, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So that's
overall,
fine.
what I think, just do me a favor and just like slightly squint your eyes, and I think it becomes apparent that like the right side is so much heavier than the left side. Like the like for example the space around Valpro question mark, it's like it has a lot of black white space, and on the right side pretty much everything is full with scribbles. And I'm not really a fan of that. I think with a composition like this, it should be balanced.
Yeah, and it does look better in Grips the 3D. Don't get us wrong. It's just funny. It's just really funny.
Yeah, of course. And also Dagger is like, I hope we didn't offend you or anything, because like I think constructive criticism is good, but I find like flaming and such I find it pretty useless, especially since you kindly asked us for our opinion, right? And I don't think you deserve better than to just be flamed. So since you wrote in the chat just now.
Yeah.
I don't know, Emerald, if you agree, but yeah.
I just think like I think he's just using it as like slang to like he doesn't like it's hyperbole. I think he means constructive criticism when he says
Oh,
that.
okay.
Don't worry, like he doesn't mean actually flame.
No,
Like
okay.
we're not just gonna go, you're trash, bro. Like, I actually think you're really talented for just a year. Honestly, you're really good. You've been on your grind, and the things you do, like you know what you need to do well. You know the objective, like with your thumbnail. You know the objective, so I think you're doing well.
Yeah, I think something you could benefit from. I think you've kind of found your way around color and such. You know, so, something that people get better when they do YouTube thumbnails and all of that, right? But something I would recommend for you to learn is like the like ground rules of design. In German is Grundregeln der Gestaltung. But I don't know the correct English term for it. But it's essentially like the rule of, you know, for example, when things are closer together, they're counted as groups, and when everything is white and then one thing is red, of course the next thing sticks out. And when you learn those rules, and yeah, I'll try to look it up what the correct term for it is, but I think it's important to learn it and to be aware of it at all times. I think it would help you a lot.
Yeah, so we'll add that to your little document thing. We can write it out now. Things to work on. Take one fucking day out of your week to update your damn portfolio. That's it. Quality issues. I'll put a question mark, since if like that is a lot for compression, so I'm not too sure. I will link the website in case you want it anyway. Just in case. I know it doesn't really matter too much for thumbnails, but just I don't know if you want it.
Yeah, and also write down principles of design. That's what called in English.
Principles of design. Yes.
Yeah, contrast, balance, emphasis, proportion, hierarchy, repetition, rhythm, pattern, white space, movement, variety, and unity. Perfect.
Nah, Dagger, bro. Future
No,
reference, bro. I don't care if you don't need it right now. Future
Yeah,
reference.
no, don't worry. But like the principles of design, and those are like the 12 basic principles.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Let me see if anyone else who signed up's in chat right now.
Jaden
No.
asked to let him know when we are doing the proposed penny.
Penny. Well, I'll ping Penny right now. Doing yours now. And when he gets back, oh, here he is. Penny's here. That was quick. All right, let's do it. Where was it again? It's paper crowns, cookie. Nothing. Motion. Here it is. Okay. So
Okay, motion graphics, got it.
I've done a bit of motion graphics, but I'm fairly sure you are like 10 times more experienced than me with it. So you'll probably have to carry this section.
Okay, wait, I'll watch through the parts as well.
Yeah, we'll just watch through everything on stream at the minute, and then we'll go through everything.
Okay, perfect. I'll just watch through everything, and then I'll give my opinion about it. Okay. You know, and of course, the thing is like, okay, the of course the thing always is with the basics of animation, where it's like it's kind of like there are also like basics of animation where it's like impact, build up, and everything. I think here it would be nice for Penny to just also practice the basics, learn about it. Other than that, the effects overall, I think it's like I don't mean this the harsh way, but what I think happened is Penny discovered some effects he likes, and then now he uses them everywhere. Because, for example, in the G8 at the beginning, you can always see this kind of like glitchy effect, and then the stuttering, and then the wavy lines around the text. And for me, that there is no reason why it should be there for me, right? It's like, well, you're a your company is called True Crime, with like a gangster mob boss head. I don't know why it needs to be twitching, or why there would be squiggly lines. But with the entire theme, when you just look at the backdrops of the True Crime esports thing, it's like a kind of smooth purple. Right? Yeah, exactly, Penny. You like it, and so you use it, right? But for me, it's like the more you learn, the more you study, the better you become, and I think it's important for you, and I think it's great because I think those motion graphics are already pretty good for what you're using it for. But I think you need to learn more to be able to do more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I especially like to add to that. I especially think on your portfolio specifically, you want to showcase what you can do, like not what you like. You've showcased what you can do with the glitchy effects, and then you keep showing it and showing it and showing it.
Yeah, and I mean, okay,
While that's
yeah, I mean, I'll be very extreme with this next example, but like imagine someone who needs motion graphics, right? And they view through everything you have there, and then they saw a glitch and squiggly lines, and then they get down to the G8 thing, and then they open the video, and then oh wow, it's another glitchy lines, and they jump up from their chair and be like, oh wow, this penning guy, he can do glitch effect on red stuff too. It's amazing, right? But it's with this kind of example, right? It's yeah, I think the point is getting across. However, I quite like the animated results graphic template for Nethermore, the bottom
Yeah, this
the
one.
second last one. Yeah, I think it's pretty nice. Also, I don't know if your stream froze, but you're still on the. I don't know. Oh yeah, never mind. It refreshed. All good.
Okay. That scared me.
Yeah, the Toon Link in front of that. I don't know if you came up with the theming for that, but I really like it. It's creative. I think it works well. Of course, there's like this capitalized text and centered, and the layout I don't think works all that well, and then purple and black with is too low contrast, and then the Twitter is also purple. And I don't know, but the Toon Link with the text behind it, I like that a lot.
I like the fire as well because it gives more motion to like. So you have like a video, but when things just stand still randomly, like this whole side would be stood very still if there was no fire behind here, creating this little small motion, giving everything more life. So I think that's pretty cool.
I don't know. Do you two know Kobayashi's ego?
Yes, we did work
Okay.
with him in 0K that one time.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't know what they're like. I'll try to find it again, but things to improve on. Emerald, I'd like you to just link that one highlight reel of Kobayashi's ego.
Yeah, I got you.
It's like, it just shows so much about like the many things you can do, right? Not the 2021 one. I mean the 2021 because I like that more.
I don't
But
know
you
where
can,
that is. Wait, it might be on
yeah,
his YouTube.
I'll try to find it, but
I'll also try and find
I
it.
don't know. In any case, I'd like you to go back to the Sonic one if you.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Found it.
Yeah, I mean, just wow. Of course, Penne. Yeah, don't worry about the 3D stuff. Yeah, leave the sound off because I think might be copyrighted. But
Oh, fair enough. I mean, it's fine if it's copyrighted. It's fine. Twitch doesn't like me that
just
much.
you see like in a reel like this, and all of the transitions between each other, and just right, and you have things moving up. You get things sliced. You have your Bezier paths, and you have bounces. You have the like another core principle, like the bounciness. Then the screen bending. Everything flows into position. Of course, we are aware that you're not at that skill level yet, but I think it serves as a nice reminder of like how many things can just be done in After Effects. It's like such a huge like powerhouse. And then not to dunk on it too much, right? But then when you go back to your motion wheel, and then all we see is the squiggly lines and the glitch effect. But I think overall, you've got a very nice start ahead of you, and I'm proud of you. Like, best of luck. And actually, I'd like to say one more thing, especially about the second one, the Sonic one. When you're ready, of course, Emerald.
Yes, I had something to say about that as well, actually.
Okay, I'll let you start then.
I was to say that I feel the overall design of this, like, because I get the focus is the animation, but I feel like that the design part was forgotten about a bit. Because I feel like this line should connect here, and there's a lot of just emptiness around it. I just
Sorry, which line?
there's a lot about the this line down here near the Battle of BC4. It's just floating in the space, and I
Hmm.
don't feel like connects to anything. Like you can connect to the little bit of the one here.
Yeah, for sure. I think okay, I think it's time you kind of started maybe to do your thing, your design stuff in Illustrator, so you have an easier time just importing it into, um, right, like importing it into After Effects because it makes just the process of designing a good layout better. And could you just play the animation?
Yeah, of course.
Like when you see the text being revealed, right? Like the penny the Pelly, and then the Battle of BC4, and then the Sonic sliding in. It's just all very linear, too linear for me. Um, it's just kind of like I don't know how far you are in this editing thing, but like years ago when the Smash Bros. Content crew when those like Smash Bros. Content crews popped up, and everyone started using After Effects over the Sony Vegas because Sony Vegas was too linear because you didn't have the curve editor. And this is what it feels like to me. This is like, you know, look up the um, just look up the like I don't know what it's called, curve tool,
It's the graph editor.
graph editor. Thanks. Um, yeah, the graph editor. That should be capitalized, Emerald, uh, in the things to do better. Learning that, and uh, also just like get a book with animation principles. Just animation principles. That's another huge thing. Um, um, yeah, those are like animation principles with bounces, with the impact, the build up of
Squash and
things.
stretch.
Yeah, exactly. The basics, and I think it helps you so much to get better at things.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
Okay. We
yeah.
have Jane and then some flapper and then we're done. Awesome. See you, Dagger. It's been great to have you on the stream. Hope we helped. And I'll send this document out on Twitter later.
All right, last two.
Yeah, last two. Okay, let's go do some flapper first, then we'll do Jane last, because I have it open. Alright,
Okay.
I'm guessing, let's just go for Twitter banners too, these are the most recent. Alright, Penny, have fun doing homework, bro. The first one, oh, welcome to the stream. I didn't know you were watching. You should have said something, my apologies.
All
Thanks,
right.
bro, you're a homie too.
Some flapper, just another dude. Was this like a Twitter ad?
Yes.
Okay. Right. I. Okay. The thing is, yeah. You can go. You can start if you like. But it's up to you.
I was gonna say, with this one, I don't feel like there is too much to critique because I think this is more of a what you want to put on your account rather than a like critique. For example, my header, right? I wouldn't say there's much to critique here. It is a star. I wanted a star in my header. I wanted it to be white with a star. And I feel like this is a similar thing, which is you wanted your name on your header and you wanted your bio.
Okay.
That's what I feel like. Do you have any critique you could say? Because I don't think we should
Yes.
give critique. Okay, go on.
Um, it's nothing major. Like you know, but I think it works well in terms of the principles of design. Because, for example, what I can see, you have like the basic layout and everything, and when you just squint your eyes, you can see that like the composition is just slightly off, right? It's although it's very simple, it it's it's minimal, but it's not simple. And the thing kind of is when you learn more with the um about like the core principles of design, like I don't know, for example, the sum thing, it's too close to the border, and so it kind of, and it's also too big, and it so it just is really off balanced. Then of course, for example, the R, like the blue R behind the white R, and how the tiny
Oh
serif
wait,
on,
Faye.
yes.
Apparently, so according to them, so with all these headers, they're just trying to replicate the original media, and this is just a title card of Evangelion. That's
Ah,
the
right.
idea.
Okay, I'll just finish this really quick.
Yeah, of course.
But okay, point taken, thanks. Yeah, like for example, the tiny serif behind, like in the negative space of the R, not very pleasant to look at, right? And then the just another dude is, it's just I don't know, it's like,
Just another text.
yeah, and the placement could be better, just everything, but I'd have to have a better example to show it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can move.
What's the code again? So, you say you're trying to do that. Which is cool. I think that's something you could talk about on the actual portfolio itself. Like, you can definitely add a little caption talking about that stuff. I feel that could be cool for process because that's inspirations. Because I would not know this was the Evangelion title card unless, well, embarrassingly, I did not finish Evangelion.
Also, I think the reason you don't see it as a title card is because the background is also white.
Oh yeah.
And so it just seems like, oh, hey, that's just the first header.
All right, we have the Alan Wake one. Here I think what I was saying before, quality. You can see the pixels on the person, like they're very apparent. Um, and the background, I'm pretty sure it's just blurred, so I'll leave that. And the
You can
text,
also see the in the bottom left, you can see, I don't know, is it a sign or a watermark?
it's a sign. Yeah, it's a
Okay,
sign.
right. Yeah, I don't know, yeah, I don't know, it's just also yeah, for example, the flashlight. You can see that it's not actually a flashlight shining, right?
Yes.
It's just a brush. I don't know. Actually, I think I have a few things to mention, but I'd like to see more headers
Yeah.
just to um get a
Also,
better feel.
also, if the cutout wasn't good, cut it out yourself. That's my biggest thing. Like, grab the pen tool and cut out. Also, may I ask, what software do you use Photoshop for these? Because I know a lot of headers are like look similar to this with like quality issues mainly stem from the fact that they don't use Photoshop. So I'm just curious, what software do you use? If it's not Photoshop, then I'll shut up about the quality. Yeah, Affinity isn't that good?
Oh, nice! I think that's awesome. Yeah. After all,
Yeah.
I don't have Photoshop anymore either, so I got the Affinity suit as well. Yeah, no. The Of course you don't have the really high quality things like all of the neural filters and stuff. But you know, think it should still be
Yeah, that's fine.
appropriate enough.
Yeah, so working quality. So one thing I do want to say, because I looked through all these before, and I think I have one piece of like advice that would probably blow your mind, right? Um, you can take inspiration from media, but I don't think you should try and right copy them. I think what you should start doing is taking inspiration from other designers specifically, and then molding into a style. Because a lot of these are very like, they're very like minimal and simple, but not like in the best way it can be. Because you are copying the media itself, and that's built for its specific purpose. Like this was built as a title card, not for a header. So I feel like you should make a mood board of whatever you like. Go on Behance. Like Behance has a mood board section. Like these appreciations, right? You have these. Fill this up. Make a mood board. Look at other people's work on Behance and do what they do. It's not copying. Trust me. It's not tracing. It's not copying. You're building up your own style, and I think that would help you greatly in creating really nice headers.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, here you go, Faye. If you want to look at more.
Yeah, overall, I actually wholeheartedly agree. The taking inspiration from medium, and I also, yeah, another thing I also meant to mention is like, at first I wanted to mention, oh yeah, just learn Photoshop more, but of course now, Affinity. But I think my point still stands. You're definitely more experienced with Affinity than I am, I have to say, because I haven't really been using it all that much. But what I think you could do is just experiment more, see what's good and what's not good. Take things from designers that you like, and even when you view tutorials, right? Can also be Photoshop tutorials, but you have to make sure, of course, that you can still follow, still follow the content, of course, right? But I think it also helps just to learn the basics more, right? Like for example, Emerald, when you scroll down to wait, the thing is a bit lagging behind. Yeah, for example, the sum flapper thing, the black text on dark red solid on another bright red solid, right? And then on like a mid darkish gray, that's just a color I don't really like, right? And not just me not really liking, right? But just in general, it's not very appealing to look at, because it's not a color palette that works especially well.
Yeah, I agree. I think we have all the advice we can give you on our document right now, and the main thing I would say, take inspiration from other designers rather than media, and learn Affinity. I think that's fair enough. Anything else you want to add, Faye, or is that cool?
Nope, not really. Overall, of course, I can't really say it because Photoshop, as bad as Adobe is, unfortunately, is still the industry standard, right? And rightfully so. Of course, I like Affinity, and especially the company Serif, because it's like you buy things once and then you own it. But of course, I can't overlook that. Of course, the software has some drawbacks, right? Like for example, in Affinity Photo, from my knowledge, you don't have a pen tool, or you do, but it's like, everything is a bit weird and different. And so, since it's not Photoshop with the huge Photoshop, behind it, you have to kind of see or make do by yourself.
I couldn't live without pen tool, bro.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
I mean, for pen tool, you have Affinity Designer.
Oh yeah.
Which is like the Illustrator variant. But again, for like the Affinity Designer doesn't have the shape builder tool, which I don't know. Have you made logos in Illustrator before, Imrod?
Yes, I have.
And of course, the Pathfinder tool.
Yeah, Pathfinder, all that, incredibly useful.
Yep. And Affinity Designer doesn't have that.
Oh,
And it,
sorry. Continue.
yeah, it's super unfortunate, right? But yeah, of course, it's unfortunate, but from what I can see, the the software, I think you can also just. So I'm trying to find out what I can how I can post this better. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is, yes, the software is one thing, but also like understanding the basics of design. That, for example, a solid black text on a very saturated red background, maybe not the best choice, right? And I think you can definitely work on one of them. But from what I can see, over time, like the graphics they're getting better, and I can only like wholeheartedly encourage you to keep at it. And I think you go very far.
Yeah, same. I agree. Like, in a few years from now, you'll be definitely like you'll be standing there, picturing this as a career path. Like, you could definitely get there very well, very easily. Just put in the effort. You got it. Apply yourself, bro. We got one thumbnail Drippy wants us to look at, so we can do that really quick before doing Jaden's.
We have what?
One thumbnail that he just made at this minute. Drippy
Sure.
wants us to look at. All right. For a thumbnail, I really like it minus the text. I feel like you're still in this. So first, I want to talk about. Actually, you're probably better than me at this. But the type. I don't think it works too well as a esporty league thumbnail.
Yeah, no, this is Fortnite.
Yeah, this is a Fortnite text.
Right.
You
And
should. Sorry, could I say one thing?
Yeah.
You should take so from the last guy we looked at with who did thumbnails. You should definitely take inspiration from his text because that's one of the things he very much excelled at doing. Like, the one in the Ezreal header and the one in the Lily Pichu first looks one. You have no good custom. You don't need good custom fonts for. And even then, you can like ask me for recommendations. Ask any like Faye. I'm sure you have abundance of recommendations. Ask Dagger for recommendations since he makes thumbnails. There's a lot of people you can ask. You don't need a good place to find them. Like, don't settle for mediocrity if you don't have to. Sorry,
Yeah,
Faye.
for sure.
You can talk.
Yeah. Also, another thing I'd say is pay attention, or can you go back to the? Or actually, no, don't go back to anything. The thing is, Drippy, just answer maybe one question. What's the first thing people should see when they look at the thumbnail? Yeah, probably the character. Okay. What's unfortunate about it is like the character only takes up 1/3 of the screen while the text takes up 2/3 of the screen. Right. And but the text is also not very big in terms of like everything, right? It makes it kind of weird because my eyes don't really know what to look at. Now imagine if you made just the assets around it, like the three icons at the bottom and then the thing at the top of the text. Throw that aside for a minute, make the character bigger, and then have the text work around it. But not in a way that it looks weird, of course. But try to make it so that the first thing your eyes see when you look at that image is the character. And then you go from there.
Though I do think for a thumbnail specifically, especially a league one, this is like a common convention. Like, you see the text, you see what's happening, and then you see the character. I feel like that's more important because you'll see the text, you'll see what he's done. So he's just done a 1v9. Then you look at the character and go, oh, he did it with Jhin. I feel like that is the thing you should be focusing on a league head. I mean, league thumbnail specifically. And then you also have the three icons at the bottom could probably be put down, but again, it's a thumbnail, so you need things to be quite large.
Right. Or for example, what you could do is like the drippy name
Uchiha.
in, and then like then like big 1v9, so you can immediately like with the snap of your fingers, oh, 1v9, and then you have the big character next to it. Oh, then I don't really need the text because I can see who that character is, and then the icons are on the side because not really needed anyway,
Yeah,
and you don't see any of the details, and
it,
just try to work around it. Right.
isn't this a form of hierarchy as well? Like the less important information's smaller, while the more important information's bigger.
That's exactly what it is. Hierarchy.
Yeah. So Jeffrey, that's one thing. So the two important things I'd say take from this with the text specifically, learn hierarchy, and switch up the typeface. Take inspiration from say Dagger. Oh, and in terms of making the 1v9 bigger, should I change the color or something to make it stand out in contrast? You're allowed to, if you do it correctly, pick the right color to stand out in comparison. I don't think this drop shadow thing should exist if you're going to do that.
Yeah, and of course I mean, it's like, okay, as it stands right now, the text is too unbalanced to fit to this kind of character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a condensed display font. If you just look for condensed display typeface, I'm sure you can maybe find something similar but more appropriate.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of what we're talking about with hierarchy. So we have like the important thing, which is Ezreal is S tier. That's the thing that's going to draw people in. That's why it's bigger, and it's contrasted on this black background as well, so everything else fits in.
Yep. Yeah, I think this works really well because it's like you have the blue and then the yellow, which is like a very nice, very pleasing thing to look at. Well, for example, all I see, or for example, when you go to this like the pink, blue, yellow thumbnail I mentioned, like after that, I think.
Let's see the pink blue. Yes.
Right, and you can see it's like, oh yeah, Neela, and then the character. That's like the first thing I can see, right? And overall, the color makes it very nice to look at. And overall, yeah, the text you saw on those thumbnails, the Nyla text, I think something similar you can find is Evokeria, the typeface, and the previous one, that's just a regular condensed sans serif font.
Yeah, you can find those anywhere. If you just typed in, condensed sans serif display font. Also, so to complement some things, I really like the effects you added around the render here, since I do know what Shanghai Scrolls Jin looks like. I know you don't own this skin, so this is clickbait as fuck. What's it called again? I like the summoner icon thing around here. I think that's very creative. I think one thing you should do to the character though, color correction, and I think you should learn how to do color correction properly. Like I don't on your other headers, I don't think you've completely grasped how to make a color correction look good. And that's like to say like you don't have to make something look extremely different or anything. It doesn't have to be like extremely saturated. It can be little differences, but just like even if it's just curves, like you could literally just do curves and I'd probably be happy. Like small little curves. Yeah, only to the whole thing. You can color correct different assets. You'd have to do it like the whole thing, and I think you should definitely, because the thing with league thing specifically, right, is the biggest thing you can do, because the splash art is already going to be all of it. The biggest thing you can do is just color correct the splash art to shit. That is like league header thumbnail principle 101. Also, yeah, that's fine. I understand that you've literally just made this right now as with the stream was happening. So you can do the improvements right now and it'd be sound. But yeah, let's move on to Jaden's and then we can wrap up the stream. Because we've been going for almost 3 hours.
Yep, for sure.
We'll probably hit 3 hours by the end of this. Alright, so he's not here right now, so I don't know what we want to look at specifically. Any preferences?
The blastu.com?
Yes. I want to look at the yen press. Like, let's both choose one and then we'll look at them. Like, one each.
Yen press. Okay.
Oh, did you want me to show that on stream, the Sunflapper thing?
I am actually not too sure. I also don't think mine is all that great, but I mean, maybe you can if you'd like. Just
Probably not, because the whole idea was it's the Evangelion title card. That's not the Evangelion title card. Yeah, okay. So with these, I'm pretty sure he made the manga. So he got given the renders and he placed the text and the assets, right? And he made them, I assume.
Mhm.
So going with that assumption, I really like it goes with all the others like manga light novels you'd see. I just don't it's the quality thing again for me. I don't know why it's the thing I always have to point out, but the quality looks so different to everything. Like you can see the pixels in the text in comparison to the art. And I think this is a thing everyone should try and
yeah.
remedy.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
And also the stroke, I don't know if you were given this logo or anything. The stroke, like it slightly doesn't like match up. Very
Yeah.
slightly, you see on the S here, like
Or the two hexagons.
yeah.
Ah.
It's just very small issues that like because these are going to be physical items, I assume. Like you can buy this book.
Okay. Something very important. Okay, here is how business works, right? You have this, and as it is, right? And clients don't really like to pay, right? In terms of design, we're in this like unusual service where everyone else, always gets the money first, and then they do stuff. And for designers, it's always like we have to always do as much as possible to please the clients, and same here. For example, let's say the producer of mangas spends around like 10K on you for you to do this layouting, right? And then you do it, and then as soon as the client like gets the files, and even if they approve it, when it goes out to printing, the clients are going to look for every single thing that's wrong with it. Like even if there's some small like super tiny line that doesn't really matter, but then the client say, oh well, wait, that's not what we actually made, or that's not what we actually wanted. We'd like to get the money back and get it reprinted. And that often happens in advertisement, because what happens is they get their money back, so they can run more advertisements, so they can like have more bang for their buck, essentially. And of course it kind of screws you over, but that's how it kind of works, unfortunately. I don't think it's great, but I think it's important to warn other designers about it, right? And when I see, for example, this thing between art online and how it doesn't match up, that like rings all sorts of alarm bells, right? Because if the client, is really driven on getting their money back and essentially getting a free service, that's something they'll mention.
That is terrible. Yeah, I never knew that. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So yeah, I guess definitely pay attention.
But, yeah, never happened to me personally, not yet. But like ask any experienced designer with like 2-digit years of experience, everyone will tell you.
Yeah, and talking about the rest of them, I honestly think they're fine for what they're doing, because like I walked into a store today, like a manga store, right? They all look very similar. They all look like this. I think he's done a good job of replicating that. Let's go into the headers.
Okay.
Hello, sorry.
No worries.
So these are to, let's see, the landing page of the website to advertise things. So these are like the headers you'd see on Crunchyroll or whatever, like to advertise an anime.
Was that made recently?
I couldn't tell you.
No, I mean, because to me, those compositions are better than a lot of stuff I see, for example, on the banners. And not that I mean it in a bad way, but like, wow, that's awesome. But of course, update your banners then, because it's like when you can do that sort of stuff, like showing the old banners on the banner section, will only scare clients away from my from my experience.
Yes, so that's just the thing with just like this is something everyone can take as well. Update, remove the old stuff. Don't be afraid to remove the old stuff. Get that gone. If one looks better, bring it in and remove something that doesn't look as good. Like clients want to see your best. That is for your best. That is not a collection for you to look at and like be mesmerized by your improvement.
Yeah, and also the thing is, like, when I look at that portfolio, and if I'll just act like I'm a client, right, and I see that you made this project, right, with like the what's it called, Yen Press, right, and then you have the Yen Press project and it looks good like this, and then, for example, you look at the banners where I can, I'll say it like it is, where I can see some stuff I don't really like, right, and then I can say, okay, wow, he made that kind of work for Yen Press. Did he just get paid extremely well, or did he just like what Yen Press is doing? Because with both of those things, what if Jaden doesn't like my stuff? Will I get the better treatment, or will I get a worse treatment? And that's exactly the reason why, as Emerald said, update, and reiterate.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, there's animations here. Wait. I think this is a thing we talked about before, Penny. Graph editor, linear, easing. I think easing would look great here.
Yep, 100%.
Like, just look that up, honestly. I think my advice on the thing is just going to be watch the VOD. We say a lot of good stuff. Like, your whole speech bubble, that's something I can't summarize.
Yes. Also, oh yeah, the easing. Yeah, yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, not much more I can say, but yeah, same with the like the graph editor. Just mess around with it.
I own
Also,
that
I don't
one.
know, come again?
I own that book.
Oh hey, which one?
You're Sent to Die.
Bless you. Um. Okay.
Oh, one thing actually about this one. I don't know if this is just a thing to me, but
Oh
like,
my.
yeah, you go.
Sorry. Okay. Wait. Where is that new hit? Where's that image that you just opened?
It's here. It's just under all that. Like the first bit. It's very.
Okay. Um, isn't it crazy about how, like, when you click on it and you have the white background, don't you, like, do you also see how much better the graphics themselves look?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, because um okay, wait, before I say stupid stuff, actually, Emerald, you can continue. I have to check something.
Okay, go
Not
on.
that I embarrass myself.
Yeah. Okay. Um, what's it called? I don't know if this is just a me thing, but like all the text here and all this is white, and then randomly audiobook is grey. I think this should have been kept white for consistency, personally. I don't know if grey was the specific move. Even if you wanted to contrast it, I don't know if grey was the move specifically.
Yep, 100%.
And I think this is a thing apparent on a lot of your headers in general. and just things. Wait, hold up. There was an example like over here. Like, I don't know why some of it's grey. I mean, that's just a personal thing. I don't like the color grey. I think
Yeah,
it's
also
very ugly.
I don't know, it's like the layer styles. It, I mean, I mean this in the nicest way possible, but a lot of the layer styles that I see, then they just seem like they were copy pasted from like a 2012 Photoshop tutorial, right? PSD pack. Um, and of course, I mean this in the nicest way as I can, right? But I think it's time to let go.
Yeah, I think like the inner glow and this drop shadow. I like the drop shadow is too deep in my opinion. Even if you're trying to contrast it, and I don't think I've ever seen inner glow look good by itself. Ever. I think it is very much time to experiment with either differing layer styles or just leaving layer styles alone and just
Yep.
doing something different
I
altogether.
mean, of course, it can work because you probably don't know it, but for my 3D text that I often did, I used Inner Glow tons of times. But the thing is, I always tried to make it look natural and not um
Just there.
not layer style-ish. You
Yeah.
know, um I think the core rule is when you can't tell that it has outer or like inner glow, then it's a great use of inner glow. Oh, and also, another thing I'd mention, since Emerald still has the image in like full view, I don't know if you can change it in your website, but just okay, the background of your website is RGB 222222, which is like a dark gray where all of the values have like 22 in terms of RGB, right? And that's kind of a no-go because it's like this very because that way you get a muddy-ish gray, and the source behind making good dark grays is by adding more blue, because more blue just makes it a lot better. I can I'll try to make a quick example as a small little thing and send it to Emerald.
Wait, if you
Um,
can give me the hex code, I might be able to change the website background. I think.
the hex code is 222222.
Let me try and find it. Style. Oh, here it is. Which one should I change it to?
I don't know, just increase the blue value.
Increase the blue. Okay.
I think you're a designer. You can even mess around with it as well, right?
Yeah, true. Like this. You can see my screen on Discord in real time, so.
Yes. Just go to background color and to blue and just just
Yeah, just mess around
of
with
course
it.
not all too much so you can see the blue, but just like when you go slightly back so it looks like natural gray, like I guess 1/3 of the entire width.
I like this.
Which I think is great because now you have this like, okay, because now you have a very dark background, which means it's less annoying on the eye, because you either go very light or you go very very dark, because both of these to me they allow you to focus better on the art. But when you, for example, set the set the background color to like a neutral gray, like right between black and white. Can you do that for me, Emerald?
Yeah, I've done that.
No, I mean, yeah, like
Like more grey, like this.
right between black and white.
Or everything.
So, what does that look to you?
Very ugly. Grayscale,
Yes,
old movie.
yes, exactly. And um, from what I can say, right, change it as soon as possible when you can. because I think it helps your work just be better presented by a lot, right? And makes it look less amateur as well. Just makes it look more professional, which I think you deserve, right?
100%.
Yes. Sorry, that was just my little rant about the gray color, right?
You're fine.
So in short, either go full white or full black, or at least full-ish, right? But when you want to have gray, always make it a bit more blue.
Alright, is there any other project you want to look at specifically, or should we wrap up?
We can look to the Armada one.
Armada, okay.
So, and of course, again, you see that the gray background just distracts again, right? Which again, as Emerald mentioned before, very off-putting, but I won't mention it anymore, right? But okay, let's look at the overall graphics. I've created graphics below in order to build up Armada's publicity. Okay, there. To me, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be looking at. I mean, I was never really all that into Armada, I guess. Like, I wasn't really aware of it. I mean, I was aware, but not really following them, right? But I always assumed that they had this like kind of a very, like black and white, and then the stroke text or brush stroke text. That, for example, you can see further below in this like the box 10K champion, right? And then of course making such a move is very bold, especially with typefaces like that, where it now goes into this very geometric thing. And but overall, I think all I can really say is things like the composition, where I think, for example, that the attending elegant or welcome elegant, top 8 elegant, again, I don't know why all those graphics need to be there, but for example, it feels too far to the side for me. Like, for me, it looks like it can easily get cut off. And then of course the logo in the background on the Armada header, same as the logo we had before, right? Or all of the ads. Of course, I can't really judge the rebrand itself, because I don't know what went on behind the scenes, or why you went for red and such. But yeah, essentially what we had before in the other streams, I guess.
To be fair, I don't really mind it too much here because the player icons interact with it. See how it goes
sorry,
into...
you were cutting out. You don't mind it?
I don't mind it because I like how the player icons are interacting with it.
Oh, I mean, in the logo background, I mean below in the Twitter header.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yeah. That I agree, yeah.
Yeah. But of course, integrating the Armada logo with like the cutout, I think that works really nice. I think the color correction on the player is a bit too light, and you can see that you use the top light trick, where you have like a large brush, and then you have like one brush thing at the top, so it's like a top light, right? But yeah, overall, I think I can say the same thing about the things we said before about the branding thing we mentioned before. But since it's done now, I don't think it's appropriate to give my own opinion on that stuff, since it's already done and such. But yeah.
Yeah, one thing I don't see is like, I don't see what like Armada's branding really is here.
You don't what?
I don't see what. Sorry, I'm cutting out. I don't see like Armada's branding, because like at the top we had all reds and now we have all blues, and then the different typefaces and such. Like, I just don't see any consistency. If I were to see it on Twitter, the only reason I'd know it's Armada is because of the logo and the account name. If I just saw the graphics, I wouldn't think Armada.
And funny enough, the reason I think I would recognize them is because when you go down to the box 10K champion, is because I recognize the champion as Armada's typeface, right? Because they've used it for so long. Now it's ingrained in my head, right? And again, wink, wink. That's how branding works when you do something for a long time, right? It becomes stuck in your head, and you don't forget it, right? And so, I think this irritates me as well, where it's like now it's all red, and then you kind of moved on from this like very like really developed black and white style, right? Now to this very experimentalist with like different typefaces, different like there we have a condensed sans serif, then a geometric one, then another grotesque neo grotesque sans serif, and then the original grotesque one, and then brushstroke, and whatever. And
Yeah,
then of course the ugly layer
I
styles.
think
Sorry.
I think a good example would be like if I was to get shown like a color wheel and I had to attribute them to Smash teams, like I see orange, I go illusion, right?
Yeah.
If I
And
saw
green,
it,
purple, and purple.
yeah, and I just wouldn't be able to attribute Armada to anything.
Yes.
I think that's the idea. Also, Drippy updated the thumbnail as well.
Yeah.
To look. Where is it?
Would you like to just one as for the banners, and yeah, just for the banners really quick, just a quick overview because I'd like to mention something really quick.
Oh yeah. Let me go on the banners real quick.
Yeah.
Banners.
Not a specific header, but just in general.
Yep, here we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the stream is always okay. So now I look at this, and of course keep in mind still the gray background doesn't help, and also the images still loading because it takes ages to load. I don't know why. But yeah. The thing is, uh, and I mean again in the nicest way possible, but I think you can do so much better, especially since now you've made projects with what's it called, Yen Press, and professional esport teams like Armada. I don't think you need to have Twitter headers like that look like have those very 2012 16 Photoshop layer styles, right? Sorry, I think I sounded really mean there, but
I think
really
what you're
mean
saying is try to
this.
modernize your
Yes.
how you
Yes.
work. Like look at what
Yes,
other
for sure.
people are doing and see why aren't I doing, like look at design trends currently. Like I think it's like Sesso has a nice series on design trends. I like to go on TikTok, type in design trends. Like I think that's a good way to modernize what you're doing.
Yeah,
Because
but not only experiment in terms of like different themes, but also in terms of composition, because from what I can see, like Red Rebel, text is on the left side, anime characters on the right side. Next is Stony, text on the left side, character on the right side. Shiras, text on the left, anime character on the right side, and Akio, text on the left, 02 on the right side, and the more you scroll down, the more it goes on and on with the same style, right?
hey, change the
And
gear.
oh yeah, okay, perfect. But I think experimenting more from like not just color, but I think also like the composition and things to try out. Like you're a designer, you're creative, and we can see that, especially in the Empress, things. But yeah, I think same with like minimizing the thing Emerald said. Just minimize down to the very few core images that really prove how great you are as a designer, and I think that helps you a lot. Because I think we know you have the skill. I actually think your portfolio could do better. Or no, sorry, you can make your portfolio better, which is
Yeah, there's a lot of potential.
always a very nice thing to hear, I think, because it's like, yeah, your skill is there.
All right. So think I've just told him to look at the VOD. There's a lot like of practical examples we gave. So I guess last thing is just let's see the thumbnail Drippy improved on with the hierarchy thing. Alright, here it is now.
Yep. Okay. The thing I can immediately see here, right? The text, Drippygen 1v9. Okay. The things I can see is like, okay, why do I need that date? It's very big for what it essentially tells me. which
That's
is
not a
nothing.
date. That's his kill death ratio.
Oh, kill death ratio. Okay. Yeah, then it makes sense because you're in the community with like League of Legends, right?
Yeah, that was to replace this, though I do like this more.
Oh, yeah. Okay, then that's an improvement. Hella. But yeah, essentially same thing. Just mess around with it more because now it's like a Drippy, Jin, and the kill death ratio. They all have the same like importance in terms of like the sizing and everything, and then 1v9 is only slightly bigger, and I think you can make an like even more of a distinction. And then
Yeah.
of course right, and now the character has more space. Now it is more important. I think you've done that well. But then of course the icons. Just try to have it better and try to align it more. Like for example the D and J. Like for example it's not aligned. And with aligned I mean visually aligned. With like, for example the stem on the D coming down, and then it would align with the stem on the J. And same with the 2, for example. Yeah. I think you're off to a great start. Same with the typeface, by the way. I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely improved. I do think
Yeah.
with the drop shot, I think you should let it go. I think the drop you should let that idea go. I think like I don't want to call it lazy, but you've went away and you haven't spent as long as you could do it because you're trying to do it before the stream ends. I think you should continue to work on it, and I think you should honestly stop being afraid of trying the things that like Dagger did, because like I sent you that as an example, like you can see very clear differences between like this and that.
Yeah, this is why Israel SSS tier, right?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you try making the text like bright orange instead of white with a orange backdrop? And if it looks bad, then at least you know it's bad and you've tried it, right?
Yeah. I also want you to like close up on it and study it, because there's a lot more to that. Because like I know when we tell you this, you're gonna change the color and make it a solid color. No, you can see that there's a tiny gradient here. That there's a little glow effect. There's a tiny drop shadow. There's a lot more to it than just changing the color. I know you're gonna need to go and do that.
Yep.
Like with yeah.
Yes, and I can say like try to not just copy but like really think and look at it and realize why it works so well there, and try to actually, okay, you know what, try to copy it, and I mean like really copy it.
Yeah, replicate
And
it completely.
that helps you to understand like, oh wait, I'm copying it because, oh wait, hey, that color combination works well, and I can see that because I'm changing it in real time, right? Of course, don't plagiarize it, right?
This is just for practice. I don't think he's going to use this because I don't think
but still, in any case, yeah, just try it. Like for example, orange to a slightly red gradient, and then the outer glow. Just essentially try to
Experiment.
replicate the layers though, and experiment, of course.
Yeah, like Control Z is on your keyboard for a good reason. Like what's it called again? Use it. Honest, I cannot like tell you the amount of like you've probably watched me design a bit. Like the amount of times I've like gone through the entire color wheel on a single image is like ridiculous. Just because I want to see what works well, what doesn't work well. I feel like you just like you want to get it right first every time, and if it doesn't, you'll be a bit sad. I think you should just try harder with it.
You're going to make okay. You are okay. Sorry. When the point comes where you're that kind of guy who just makes everything right instantly, then you'll be close to retirement after your long design career. Is what I can confidently tell you, I'd say.
Yeah.
It you really don't have to make it perfect, and you can't, trust me. But you can iterate, and learn from it, of course. I think
Yeah.
that's the best advice we can give you.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, just work on that a bit more. When stream ends, I'll still show Faye. I'm sure he'd love to see it, the improvements.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, any last thoughts before we end the stream? Because that's gonna be it now.
From my end or Drippy?
For your end, just you in general.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. In general. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone who submitted their portfolio. Seeing everyone's progress, because of course I've known a lot of you, and seeing all of you just grow, like for example Penny with the motion graphics, or Blasto with the printing job, right? And I've known you worked with Armada before, and now you've worked on their visual identity. I think it's great. I think seeing the progress we're all making, I think it's wonderful, and I'm very happy to be part of this, and see how everyone develops. And I'm grateful for it. Thank you. And also Emerald, at this point again, thank you so much for having me. I had lots of fun.
Yeah, of course. And love to do it again sometime, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, 2 months. Next one. Everyone get your ports updated, bro.
Yeah. Blastu, you've watched the VOD. Change the background color.
But yeah, bye.